get that before we get these new settings. Gonna have to get used to this. What's this? Here we've got time. All right. Apologize. We got some new settings here. Uploaded it. An update. All right. I have no actual live. It's just all messages. Got some other settings here. So what else do we got here? Interesting. What's this one all about? Ooh, I don't know what that's all about. Let's not do that. What's this all about? Retouch. At least 1 minute of video. Need to just start a highlight. Okay. All right. Thank you, Father, for this blessing. Thank you for the ministry here. It's a little blurry. Whoa, that's even more blurry. Okay, so let's wipe that down. Wow. Definitely having some issues here already. We're having technical difficulties, but no worries. Jimmy Crack Corner. Let's see. All right, a little better. Don't matter. My camera sucks. I'm out here in the middle of the desert, so tabernacle and out here in the middle of the high desert Oregon outback. So that's what I do. Thank you, Father. You put me here to, oh my goodness, this place. So I got something on the stove here. Okay, there we go. Wipe the screen off. Get that that's all right. It is what it is. It's not what you see, all right? It's about what you warned about idolism and imagery. So, oh, it's probably maybe this. What I touch here? It's probably something on the screen here. What I touch with this retouch is off. I don't know what that's all about. So there's something. I downloaded the update and it gave me a whole different. I can actually see the thumbs up and the numbers. Just there's a whole different. They got a whole different program going here now. So, all right. Well. We always start off the message with thanks and give thanks for the blessings of all things. We're supposed to thank Creator for all things, good and bad, not just the good things. Thank you for the difficult times. Thank you for the refiner's fire when he beats us because he loves us. So that's what we do here. Talk about that and let us talk about this 8th king, the 7th king, being revealed as an 8th king, and most people are very ill prepared for that. So they don't know who the 7th king is, and so they're going to be able to pull this 923 false. Definitely do see a future rapture in the future because they declared their 2 witnesses in Indiana there with their double days of darkness, 2 days of over rapture. People went there and stood on the line. I'm sure that they were going to get raptured without going through the ellipsis tribulation. So that's Antichrist, and there's nowhere in Scripture it even says once rapture, the word rapture. But all right, somebody heard it. There's one of you. I hear you in here. So I hear you. You see what I'm saying? All right. All glory to the Redeemer. That's what I call him, the Redeemer, Shiloh, the mediator, the one who will stand because of filthy rags before the Father and cover my sins of this worldly, come out of her, he said, my people. But he said, my people shall perish for lack of abyss. So I'll throw them in the abyss for lack of knowledge. My people shall perish for lack of knowledge. I'll throw them in hell. Is not a place. Hell is knowledge. Hell is no knowledge. Hell is not in space. Hell's but not below your feet. There's no such thing as space. Where do you come up with space? Where does it say anything about space? Get out of my space. It's Facebook now, right? Something like that. Oh, it's metaverse already here. So police state already here. All right, how about that? So, this is feeling very World War II-esque-ish. What do you think? Anyone else? Feeling a little Stasi? Papers! Let me see your papers. No conversation with a paper, that part. None of you guys know that part, but that's all right. It's just a song. Don't worry about it. Just want you to know. All right, well, I'm not on the earth because the earth is the ruled, but all right, chooch on a doobie, Hauser. Well, it's kind of like doogie, but with a doozy. All right, well, a doozy or a doobie. All right, so anyways, Cheech and Chong, we're passing it along. Puff, puff, give. All right, never mind. Thank you. Earth is the ruled and heaven is not above your head, but God created. Well, thank you. Father created all things. And they tried to take me out, but I'm still here. So thank you, Father, for keeping me, that somebody can be blessed. We can glean together. Iron sharpens iron. Remember Timothy, it says, adding to your faith. By faith alone we are saved. But saved is the Greek word sozo, and you must endure to the end to be saved. So you can't check out early. So my day of death is already written, but thank you, Father, for the creation in this place now has gone to be an abomination, but that's okay. You create all things and be not anxious. You create good and evil. So thank you for creating evil, and thank you for the bad times and the horrible times. And it really helps refine the who we are in this, how we react to those. It's called, the Greek word is orge, O-R-G-E, not orgy, like their Roman orgy sex ritual they celebrate in the middle of the winter. They call it Christ Mass, or Masse is the eating of human flesh, you know, M-A-S-S-E, no, not, I almost sound like that. I swear I went back in time to the Mickey Mouse show or something there. M-I-C, no, well, let's not do this. Step up to the mic. All right, anyways, this is something, again, remember, this, we give thanks to Father for all things. We're not supposed to just thank him for the, you know, the good things. We got to remember he's refining us. The word orge is a Greek word that means to, well, quick to indignation and quick to wrath, quick to anger. Father tests us. We're supposed to be patient and caring and meek and wise with Father and everybody, you know, ourself, others, and even our enemy, if you will. Supposed to love them. That doesn't mean make them hot cross top buns and give them cookies and crackers. It means show them to the narrow way. So that's it. It's not complicated. Don't make it something that it's not. So thank you, Father, for creating all things, good and bad. Again, it's what refines us. That orge is a test to quick new judgment. These are things that Father wants us to have this patience with, especially with him. Remember, be patient with Father, because, you know, none of us know his timing. You know, our time is just, I know he's just going to smash me with, well, I have hope. I got a mediator, you know, I've committed sin, you know, in my own head, and, you know, I've done things, you know, that I'm not, but we all have fallen short of the word. And so if you don't have that mediator, I can tell you this, you're going to have to stand before the Father, where the wages of one single sin, under that book. Remember, Old Testament, well, the first 5 books, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, were 613 statutes, commandments. Where the wages of whatever venial or mortal sin was a sin, the wages of sin, one was death. Are you worthy of that? I've fallen short of that. I think how many times? Well, long ago when I was a child, you know. So I'm blessed to know that Father is creator of all things, and the writer, the author, the editor, everything that was written, everything not written, everything that ever will be. So he creates good. He does all these things. He said, I do them after my own counsel. I do them for my own pleasure, and I, Father, create evil. So that's that word orge, where he tests us with his vessels of wrath fitted for destruction, goats, if you will, for the foundation of the world. These were already chosen. Well, chosen are the elect, the bride. There were vessels of wrath. These were not chosen. These were not predestined. Predestined only chosen elect, the bride, these are called vessels of wrath, fitted for destruction from the foundation of the world. He created them to commit sin, self-will, if you will. You will is self-will. That's the Greek word porneia, idolatria. That means to serve. Latria is to serve. Porneia is the Greek word, not like orge, like quick to wrath, or again, the orgy ritual, ritual in the middle of the winter. Their sex biscuit ritual is what I call it there. They do their crackers and grape juice, but eat my body, drink my blood. Remember, they do these things, these mammon traditions of men that Father told us not to do. We're not even supposed to celebrate even one single day, let alone the celebration of our oneself. That's the Greek word porneia. Are you concentrating there? Anybody? I know the focus seems a little off, but you have a hearing ear here? Oh, wow, all right. Good stuff. Connections, knocking it out of the park. So we're supposed to go through suffering. This is what we do. We go through the hados. We go through the press. We go through the refiner's fire. He wants us to be like gold and silver. So this orge, this test that he puts us through, is a test of wrath, quick wrath, indignation, and anger and judgment. All these things are a test of self-will. If we do his will, we're not doing our own, not free will. There's no such thing as free will. That's nonsense. You're a child. If Father created all things, and there's no such thing as luck, there's no such thing as free will, and there's no such thing as being saved, because you have to endure to the end to be saved. So let's make that very clear straight out the gate, because there's two gates, just so you know. Straight out the gate. That kind of sounded like a song, didn't it? All right. Apologize. We got to add a little bit here. He said don't add to my word. You normally don't need to. Well, no, he said don't even add a jot, or I'll blot your name out. You know what that is? Like white out. Is it? You used to could. Anybody ever hear that comedian? Who said that? Which one was that? Was that Jeff Foxworthy? Anyways, hold on. So he's an all-loving father, but he doesn't love everybody. He didn't love Esau and Nimrod. He was a mighty hunter. He said, first I was the hunted, now I'm the hunter. Anybody for 5 extra brownie points? I got kicked out of the Boy Scouts. They ate all the brownies. Never mind. We'll move on. I don't want to give any pop quizzes yet. We're a little earlier into the test here. So it's a test of your will. Porneia is the Greek word, idolatria, to serve your eyes, or to serve. Latria is to serve. Okay, service in latria is to serve. Latria, idolatria, idols, the things of your eyes. These two witnesses, he said, that'll right there to hang on that. Yeah, that'll steal your crown. He said in Revelation 3:11, I come quickly, let no one steal your crown. So careful, 2 kings, 2 crowns. The abyss is the word knowledge. Hell is what you call it, but hell is not a place and space. Balls are farce. Well, twist, warp, or pervert is the Hebrew word froward. That means to change. And he said, don't add a jot to my word. I'll blot your name out of that book of life, the Lamb's book, remember? So appreciate those thumbs up, guys. Hallelujah. All glory to Father and to Shiloh, the one who redeems. Right. It's already chosen. Be not anxious. Vessels of wrath and vessels of mercy. It's already been chosen. That's what predestination is about. He bought and paid for his bride. He didn't even have a flesh vessel. He was the Ruach HaKodesh. This was all created in the beginning, was the word. Correct? Spoken into existence. HaKodesh, air, breath, pneumatics, pneumonia, respiratory virus. All right, names. You might want to keep up, concentrate. I go through a lot quick, only got so much time on this rock before I get to go be with. He said, I'm going to leave this place, go over to where my Father's house is at, and he destroyed all that physical ritual, temple, fee, fine, war. It's meek, not weak, he said. So we're talking about time, which is kind of an illusion if you think about it. Most people are on a calendar, and we're not supposed to celebrate, as I said. Porneia, latria is to serve. We're not supposed to celebrate or serve oneself. That is the Greek word porneia, or idolatry. He divorced his bride for that same exact reason. Going after other gods, little g gods, deities, the word demon. Remember, that was a compliment in history. People are idiots when it comes to record, historical, biblical, or scriptural record. History is not in a book, but we won't go into that for dialectus glossa tongue's sake. No such thing as speaking in tongues, by the way, either. No such thing as free will. Father does not love everybody. He hated Esau. He killed his brother Nimrod. Hello, Nimrod. Has that got your blood pumping? They're the mighty hunter, the one with a bow and an arrow. Yeah, remember? Warp speed? Oh, the one, the bringer of the disease and the cure of the disease. All right, bow to the altar of Jabba. Anakin Skywalker. How about any big feet? Anybody believe in foot by the how tall somebody is? The word nephilim means bully. So Anakin Skywalker is as real as Chewbacca and as real as, hey, I got proof of Bigfoot because it says it in Scripture that, well, I got it on camera. Chewbacca had Wookiee with an Ewok. So now we've got big feet, foot. Which one? You can take one and foot one in front of the other. Left, right, your left stage, well, right or left exit. I don't want to hear about feet or big foot, but the Nephilim is the word bully. So sons of God are not fallen angels. Sons of God are not big feet. Sons of God are, why? Remember that? Eddie Murphy in Delirious? Gus, you ice a Bigfoot, isn't she? She's falling down the steps again, but we won't do that right now. Hey, we had to go back to a little Delirious. I'm flawed. I'm just a man. Just filthy rags out here in the desert. Love the tabernacle with the supping with the word. He said sup, right? Eat of the meat, drink of the milk, not some watered down version of the milk, right? So some other Jesus. Hold on, I got something on the stove. I'm making some bread here. Hold on. Ooh, there it is. Let's try that on for size. Be good there. I got some spicy carrots here too. Spicy. Wow, my thing is all the way down there. Man, this sucks. I don't know why they do this to my channel. Huh? I know you said before. No, you don't need to know all the. Holy gosh, if you knew a little bit of Greek and a little bit of Hebrew, it'd help you a whole lot. A little goes a long way. Remember? So, you need to know the gospel. You don't need to know any Greek, but it does help, you know. You've already been here long enough. I think I've seen here before to know oligos a little bit. A puny number. Remember, he don't love everybody. He's an all-loving father, Shiloh. Remember, he covers the sins of the bride. So that's only the bride. Those are the ones that he predestined from the foundation of the world. Vessels of mercy, vessels of wrath, vessels of mercy. Which one are you? It's already chosen. Don't worry about it. Your day of death's already written. A little dabble do every single time. How about that? Well, how many times did you bow to the altar of Jabba? How many times were you updated? I mean, boosted. All right. Focus. Pan down. Concentrate. Hey, we've got the bush. We went back to Revenge of the Nerds there. Hey, let's keep it a little more light. Preparedness is a thing. I'm living the American dream. I don't know what's wrong with you, but at least where I'm at, I can't leave where I'm at right now, but as close as I'm going to live the American dream. So I'm American, but anyway, I used to could, but I ain't not anymore. Like Cheech and Chong, remember they're crossing the, hey man, throw it out, get rid of it, man. No, nothing. That 44, do you guys like the number? I like, we do decodes in here. So 44, Mr. Old Vomit, remember Barry? Barack Obama was his uncle. Remember, Barry was a known homosexual that he went to college. Yes, his wife, Manchelle. Man, that's pretty silly, isn't it? All right, that's not nice. Yeah, like the transgender Jesus. Let me see them titty Jesus. Yeah, the God of three genders in one. Baphomet. The one Trump has his house decorated with. Wake up, the final Trump, huh? I've seen Trump 2028. Now, you talk about violating somebody's rights. They want a king, don't they? No kings. Remember he said? No, that was brought to you by the Waltons. Your recent, whatever, waving Mexican flags in California. When 80% of the people coming across the border are other than Mexican. They don't want to talk about these people from the Red Dragon, the great Red Dragon. You know, they don't talk about it. You know, but that's all right. These people couldn't tell the difference between a Mexican and a Latino or a Venezuelan or Argentinian or a Salvadorian. Don't call somebody an El Salvadorian. That's not what. Anyways, try to call somebody from Ecuador a Mexican. I guarantee you're going to find it real quick. Okay, that's like trying to call a redneck in Tennessee a redneck. I know I got that under my truck. Thank you. Yeah, I used to could. All right. So, all right. But anyways, it's a compliment. Some of us are, we're animals. We got instincts. Like a bird doesn't need to be told fly south for the winter. Who's nuts here? Chipmunk's got the brain the size of a pea. Squirrel. And who's nuts now? Huh? Doesn't need to be told to put up nuts for the winter. Bird doesn't need to be told to fly south. Those are animal instincts. If you lost them, you couldn't even probably forage in the woods and even find you need a Walmart or a Piggly Wiggly. You need a drive-through, don't you? You like convenience. The number one selling product on this, been in marketing is the insinuation, like a low-cut dress would be the insinuation of sex. That's the number. But second would be convenience. Drive-through. Does anybody remember that thing? Jacking right in the drive-through for the Nissan trucks. I don't know what that was. I think that was old school. I'm old school, man. Remember? I'm eternal. I don't ever end. So what's time? What's death? You're crazy. Remember, the man's nuts grab him? I told you, keep your hands to yourself. But Chipmunk's got the brain the size of a pea, and it doesn't need to be told up. Put up nuts. This guy's talking about nuts. All right. I said the man's nut. All right. Hold on, the little... A dabble do. That's what it got me going. So I need a straw man. Give me my yellow brick road. You're mad. I'm mad. Don't be mad. Be glad. Get into trash bag and see your way to the dump. All right. Rubbish, I tell you. What a world full of rubbish. Curtis. Hey, man, I know Curtis, my man. These are for real diamonds, man. All right, you ever see the movie Cheech and Chong? We're just doing a little movie. People love their television, so we're adding a little. We went back to Delirious, remember? You come to my house and the fish stop moving, the bus boys. All right, never mind. You guys don't. You're a little too old. You couldn't even do some of that stand-up comedy today. They'd throw you off stage, right? They want to she, they, them, booby, Jesus. You got to do the proper pronouns, pronouns. They don't know the difference between the word believe is not a thought in your head. It's not a noun. Faith is a noun. Belief is a verb. It's an action word. They're all talking. I had to do it. Whatever. People need change is good. Change is a very good thing. Father is, although there's cycles and, there's climate has always been changing. There is cycles, within cycles, super cycles and half cycles. And now we're in the 6th extinction cycle right now as we speak, the 12,000 year super cycle. The turning, the age, remember the 80-year, the cycle of the debt, reserve currency. We've got the turning of the 400-year times 5, 2,000 times 6 is 12,000. Here we are. Welcome to the new age. This is it. Pastor Revelation ministering you this apocalypse daily, being born from above, not again. So. Stay in the word, not of the world. He said, come out of her, my people. Do not partake in unfruitful works of darkness. Well, we are. We're in the age of Revelation. We're in the last book. The firmament declared it, not I. I'm a magi. I just have a celestial eye, remember? Spiritual eye, biblical eye. Understand, you can lead a horse to water, but you can make them think. You can lead a person to abyss knowledge, but you can't make them, they got to think for themselves. So preparedness is a mindset. And we're not supposed to be supping with vipers and casting our pearls before swine. So thank you for moderating in your connection, keeping the connection between, I was a snake before you let me in. And the people are like, yes, let's vote for Time Magazine's Man of the Year twice. Yes, the 7th king is now being revealed as the 8th king. So we're blessed on this ministry to see the revealing of the 8th king right before, not the straw man, follow the yellow brick road, the magic, barrel full of monkeys here. No, anyways, let's not. So, all right, Planet of the Apes. There they go, spinning around on a ball, Planet of the Apes. So there's no planets. Do you live on a planet? If you live on a planet, you got to go. There's no such thing as a planet. Father didn't create planets. You need to get out of here. You sound like a whole see no evil, hear no evil, speak no. You sound like a lollipop religious idiot is what you sound like to me. Stuck a lollipop in your mouth and don't ask no questions, right? Tell no lies. You're a straw man. That's what we were talking about earlier. We're just having a conversation around your ear. You don't have an ear to hear. The word apocalypse means to lift the veil, to remove the scales. He only removes the scales from oligos, a fraction. Many are called, oligos are chosen. So it's not up to me to decide. It's already a bought and paid purchase for possession from the foundation of the world before even the creation of all things. He already knew. He is I am, Jehovah, self-existing God. He is fire, baby. You can't get no fire than Aleph, Aries, the ram, right? David declared him the Lamb of God. That makes Father the ram. Hallelujah for that. Ain't no doubting. My Father don't have breast, and my Father don't have flesh. And my Father had to birth a flesh vessel to fulfill the Gentile nation. And that flesh vessel didn't have boobies. So there she, let me see, she, they, them, titties. Jesus, their titty Jesus is Nimrod, the one Trump has his house decorated. A bunch of Nimrods decorating their house with, well, no, he surely does, but an Apollo mission. Apollo, the sun god. Why are we going to the moon on the sun? Moon? Did we go to the moon? Let's take a poll. Hey, remember Mr. Stinky Muskrat said we lost Mr. Starlink? I thought it was Reagan in Star Wars. I thought it was Anakin Skywalker. I thought Chewbacca had Wookiee with an Ewok, and now we got big feet. You watch too much television. Stop it. So, anyways, no conversations here, huh? Thanks for those 8 thumbs up. You can support the ministry by hitting that thumbs up. We don't cover this cracker Jesus, you know. It's a stick up. Let me see your decami. Everybody get their hands up. These are just words you're not familiar with. These are foreign to you, like alien. So if you believe in an alien, I think you need to go out of here. I've done built the UFO already. I have. Well, there would be signs in the stars, sun and moon. And as you're looking up there, what do you think you see? You see Tesla tech, anti-gravitics, electrogravitics. You see government technology. Stop it. Fallen angels don't mean out of the sky. Heaven's not above your head. God's not in the sky. Father doesn't have breast nor flesh. He had to birth a flesh vessel to fulfill the Gentile nation. And Christ, which means anointed in oil, didn't have breast. Here we go. Breast and oil. This sounds like a ditty party to me. Who do you think paid for the bath oil? That would be Mr. Warp Speed. He's the oil guy. Remember? Got 3 steel buildings with 2 airplanes, and they're still touching your children's little bouncy ball, you know, well, the little juggling his little cherry tomatoes and touching your little girl's slot. And as a veteran that I took a note to this concept, I'm offended. You're not supposed to touch kids there, Muhammad. Can you touch much? Oh, Catholics. Oh, like Joe Biden, put the Biden. Haha, they're 2 fangs, 2 wings to the same dragon, 2 cheeks to the same hole. Whether Democrat or Republican, you got to love that, right? 2-party system. Yeah, whatever. They did that in Rome. You're an idiot. The lotto. Hey, let's hold a lottery. Who wants to be slaughtered at the end of this? And we'll let you eat all the finest cheeses and veals, and we'll call you the king of the Saturnalia. Well, we think the sun is dying, so you can pray to Saturn, and then we'll all, you know, we'll try to slow the sun. The sun's dying. Oh no! Let's pray to the sun at the equinox, and we'll eat you. We'll eat your flesh. We'll barbecue you, but you can do a pumping up. Hey, we got the finest sheep lined up for you, man. Let me tell you, we got the finest men. This is a man on beast, beast on man, woman on man, woman on beast on beast, beast. Yeah, it was an orgy, maybe manger Jesus, bestiality ritual. On December 25th, they barbecue this man and eat him to their sun god Apollyon, the one Trump's house is decorated with. Now, how do you like that? Them apples. Take that. Them Adam's apples. Like man shell, try Nancy, try all. Why don't you look at all of them? We can look at pictures. Anybody want to see pictures of the first ladies? You want to tell me? You tell me. Sometimes your eyes will deceive you. You know, careful what you see. Careful what you tell eye vision. Oh, hey, where'd we go there? Let's go back to our beautiful first ladies. Oh, hey, look here. Woo, look at this lady. Oh, that's beauty little lady. These are first ladies. These are your first ladies of the Americas. Well, look at there. Well, look at that. Yeah, we got some more ladies. Come on, man. Hey, what you doing? All right, we should go back in time. Let's go. All right, we should go back in time. Let's go. Oh, hey, there's Nancy. Hey, Nancy, remember? Hey, there's Nancy. Hey, Nancy, remember? She got plugged in the back of this. Come on. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Be very afraid. Don't be afraid. Be very afraid. I want to talk about this one here, huh? Why don't you ever talk about this one? I don't talk about it. Whatever. You only live once, right? That's such a silly thing to say. You're eternal. You don't ever die. Anyways, remember Benghazi? I've never forgotten Benghazi, okay? I'm a this clown show here. This is Donald Hillary Trump. And remember, I'm going to put Hillary. How many hundreds of millions of dollars were funded into Hillary for prison? Never forget Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones. Yeah, I was in on it too. Yep, I didn't. Oh, he didn't take a salary. How many hundreds of millions of dollars? Campaign. I'm going to audit the Fed. Instead, he blew Powell's bubble. I think he moved more in the bubble. But anyway, remember the economy's in a bubble, right? It's going to blow. All right. Anyways, I'm going to audit the Fed. I'm going to have a special investigation. I'm going to put Hillary Clinton in prison. And she sat 3 bodies away from him at his inaugural dinner. So if you ever want to see the most ignorant generation to ever walk this rock, it's called the Thump supporters. You know, like the rabbit, like thump, 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 like Satan, Apollyon, the one who died and had sex, her son, with his mom, who loved rabbits. Yes, sex with her son. That explains this kitty touch. Catholics, Mr. Warp Speed, why Mr. Oh, I don't know what we're calling him Mr., but Mr. Member Stinky Muskrat said he went to the island, that he's an island boy. Yeah, he went there to, on the Lolita. He went there he was in the Black Book. Yeah, he's in on the kitty touch much. Oh, Mr. Joe, he put the bite in. He got sworn in on a Catholic Bible. The Catholics are the ones who wrote the Quran. Oh, that's the Muslim things. Touching kids at an airport is what I'm talking about. You don't give a shit about it, do you? Ooh. That's what I care about. Still to this day, 3 steel buildings with 2 airplanes, which don't matter to me, still touch it. When you want them radiated, we can radiate your kids. And that ain't right. Since the Wright brothers, since flight, has there ever been a child strapped with an ordnance and then ran into 3 steel buildings with 2 airplanes, or even 1? Has there ever been a high-rise building taken down with 1 airplane? Never. By even fire, ever, not 1 or 1. None. Kind of like priest meat on Sunday. That's kind of meat they eat. Get it? None. All right, let's lighten it up a little bit. You guys are... Come on! The salt of the earth, man. Earth is not below your feet. Heaven's not above your head. You don't live on a planet. God's not in the sky. Grow up. Stop adding to the text. So you don't like it, go somewhere else. There's plenty other of these religious idiocracy channels that live this other Jesus and this other gospel. I expose Apollyon as Satan, the sun god. There's 2 devils, the white devil and the red devil. Which one are you going for? You thought that was good and evil? You've been fooled there, Halo. Too much video games or too much Call of Duty or something. You've been droned. Or you're a drone operator or something now. That's why they program these younger generation. Well, they don't care. Anybody can get in there and do it now. So that's pretty sick, man. Hey, pretty soon it's going to be Terminator. Hey, I was really concerned about there are no kings, a couple shots and they could have brought in robots. The tech, they're just going to do this. So this 923 ritual will lead to tech. It will. Pretty soon, these pretendants, they'll be, in their thrones. Well, on their, what's going on there? All right, so my dog's breathing heavy. Get a drink of water. Are you thirsty? It's nice in here. There's lots of water. Oh, we got lots of water still. So, anyways, I call it out in warp speed. I'm not afraid of this. I'm not blind 11. Are you that damn blind? 4 + 5 is 9. Skip Joe Biden. 4 + 7 is 11. Put the Biden. Get it? First I was the hunted. Now I'm the hunter. Did anybody hear him say that? Oh, like Nimrod, the mighty hunter. That's pretty funny. This guy is such the one with the crown of the. Hey, hold on. We got a puppy visit. He just climbed up under my arm. Don't you kiss me. You do not kiss me, you crazy dingo. You're stealing the show. Now stop it. Sorry. Our puppy likes to come hang out with the dad. No. No kisses, you crazy dingo boy. You're a crazy dingo boy. You're crazy. Oh, you're going to go crazy. He's going to go crazy. I do it. He's going to go crazy. Thanks for coming in. We're hanging out. We're doing a decode on this 1945 7th king being revealed as the 8th king. 923 is the executive orders that was passed under the Obama administration. That's going to allow the emergency management agency, feral if you're outside, federal if you're on the inside of their work camps. You're feral, like a dog. They want to neuter you and put a label on you and number you and throw you in a cage back in the city, huh? So you'll be feral if you're outside the. We don't need no. Hey, wait. Let's go to the dark side of the moon. Hey, ask Stanley Kubrick who filmed the moon landing. All right, we're covering more. I got now one. This guy's down here below me. What are you doing, big guy? Another one. This is the one. Oh, watch out for the big tail. We're just hanging out with the puppies. Are you getting down? Or are you staying here with the dad? Make up your mind. Would you make up your mind? Or are you just going to be crazy the whole time? You okay? You all done being crazy? Okay, he's all done being crazy. Thanks for coming in. That's Bone, and he is a good boy. Wow, this sucks. Just will not, for some reason, it's not allowing this to keep going down. Okay. Yeah, if we do ask anything of his will, because he's the one who calls us out. So, to his heart, right? A chill guy. And if you miss love, you miss life. The time difference. All right, where are you at there, Tyler? Thanks for coming in. If you want to drop where you're at, we're just playing with the puppies here. I love my animals. They've never lied, cheated, or stole from me, unlike almost not every. Many humans have done that to me. So dogs are amazing. We're supposed to be dominion over all of this creation here while we're here and we walk this rock. So I thank Father for the blessings to have good pets. I love my kitties. I love my livestock, although I don't have any right now. But so Idaho's coming in. Texas is in here. All right, thanks for coming in, Idaho. Do you believe there's an actual real human love in this world? Huh? Yes. Never believe an action word, so hope you're putting some legs on that belief. It's a verb, not a noun. You can't believe like in God or in the devil, but you can use it for conversation's sake. I didn't mean to jump your conversation, guys. Apologize. Stop trying to teach. These people are trying to have a dialectist conversation here hey, foreign dialect will not be allowed. This alien dialect being spoken in here. God. That's not written in the original text. Love, not written in the original text. So, but that's okay. No worries. Agape is what the word says. There's love. The highest of love is 2 John and 6. Agape love. Well, that means to walk and follow in the commandments of Father. Nice. Thanks for putting the scripture in there. And you're putting the text in there that's from, J's and stuff. But that's fine. You don't have to put all the interlinear. I'll go with that. But you got to be careful. Remember, he said don't add jots or tittles or even a yod or, he said jot or tittle, but that's the smallest in punctuation and like a period. And people have made up a word called planet. You don't live on a planet, you idiot. There's no such thing as planets. Stop it. So, but you do need to define the words that you're speaking. It's very important. Every single word that you speak of that book, careful don't speak words that are added to, because he warned of that. This would make you a false teacher. The word is scorpizo, or prophet is the word teacher. And he says, call no man teacher. So what are you whining for? I just paid attention to you. You're fine. So my puppy's trying to, hey, careful there now. He's stepping on me. He thinks he's a lap puppy. So what's more powerful than anything is obviously the gospel is written on our hearts, but definition is everything. If you leave definition, you've left the truth. So if you're not studying this text in the definition first, then taking it and studying it in the concordance, one word studying it, and then taking it and studying it in the context it was written, studying cultures, customs. There's a difference between an idiom and an idiot. You need to study maps. There's many ways to study this word, and it's not just through sitting down with some watered down version of the text that's got, such as the letter J, that never existed at the time of the Hamashiach, the Messiah. And that's adding to the text. We'll let you use your J's for conversation because people are very unfamiliar with the original text. They like to add, and they're, but he warns, don't even add a period. He didn't say that. He said jot, and people have made up a whole planets. A planet of the apes. Like, you think what it is, man, evolved from apes. Why are there still apes? But anyways, people are just lost in space, farce, balls, whatever you want to call it, spinning around on a block or a ball or whatever rock, or shape is irrelevant, but they're somehow they've added to this text, and they like to add things such as I taught earlier today about the sons of God, which are not fallen angels and are not giants. That's a false teaching. The word nephilim means bully. It doesn't have any to do with how many inches or tall a man is. And the word angelos is the word messenger. So an angel is a messenger, and angels don't have wings. Nothing's coming from the sky. That's the idiocracy of society today. Just like Babylon trying to build up, rockets to the sky. Here we go with Mr. Stinky Muskrat. Going to go to the moon, right? Oh, wait. You can fart and smell it on the moon. It's so close to us compared to where Mars is at. We ain't even colonized, even been to the dark side. I don't want to hear it. Oh, he said, we lost the technology to go to the moon. You're done falling for their space farce. And so careful. It's not hard. The whole world's doing it. So you can be one of them. Go ahead. Go along with their space balls and their, spinning or corkscrewing on a block. I mean, third rock ball from the sun through time and space. That's what it says in Scripture, right? You got Scripture to support that. You got, this is the teaching of today's modern society. Anakin Skywalker. The Anunnaki are giants. The Anunnaki are not sons of God. That's not what sons of God are. The sons of God is when Ahab married Jezebel. He married truth to a lie. He doesn't want us yoking to somebody to go after Apollyon, Baphomet worship, Baal in the Grove. Moloch was Esau's brother, Satan Nimrod. And that's, birth in December 25th in the middle of the winter. The one Trump has his house decorated with, whatever you want to call it. Mithra at the time of Rome. You want to play semantics, and we're not. This ain't wordplay. You do not understand what these people have been shoving down these people's throat. This, let me she, they, them, booby Jesus. This 3-in-1 God, Catholicism, Satanism is what it is. Satan needs the adversary. You add one single jot, you are a Satanist. On the other side, he said, don't add a jot. You either with Christ or you are anti-Christ. And the word Christ is a pagan, taken out of paganism term. They were killing Christians, and he wasn't a Christian. Remember, he was a Hebrew Israelite. He was the lion. He sprang out of Judah. He was from the house of David. David was from the house, right? He was from the house of David. David was from Bethlehem. Christ was from Bethlehem. So we're not talking about some other Jesus, because there's more than one Jesus. I say to these Christian idiots, Catholic idiots, I don't care what their denomination. There's no Jesus. There's no other Jesus. Leave. Get out of here. Spaceballs with your sky daddy Jesus, thinking God's in the sky. Nothing's coming from the sky. The sons of God was when Ahab married Jezebel. She went after balls in the sky, gods in the sky. the bringer of the disease and the cure of the disease, Apollyon, Baphomet. This is all this Sumerian and northern Gothic tribes that were going after the same. Tree is grove and Baal is son. Baal, Baphomet, 3-in-1 God, one God with 3 genders. Father, no flesh, no breast. Christ, no breast. Ruach HaKodesh, inside you. 3 separate. 1, right, from Father, but not all in one. That's why they knocked down 3 steel buildings with 2 airplanes. Now, that doesn't math and erected a 1 World Trade Center. You're a Nimrod. Well, I don't mean to go there, but hey, 4 triangles up and 4 triangles down to create a 1 World Freedom Tower when there's no such thing as free will or freedom? Yeah, right. I'm a veteran and I serve this disgusting beast system. So I don't want to hear it. Freedom is stand on the X, go inside, flatten the curve. 2 weeks, shut your businesses down. 2 to 3 million small businesses the very first time they flatten the curve. I don't want to hear freedom. And as a veteran, we don't fight for freedom. We fight for rights, the right to choose. I thought that's what this country was about. And freedom is supposed to be dangerous, borderline criminal, riding on the edge of, but no, your lawn grows too long and you don't listen to the code. Codes are for corporations. I don't go on dates with men or follow mandates. Those are for corporations. I'm not a straw man. Ordinances, well, he blotted out the book of ordinances, the handwriting on the book of ordinances in the book of Colossians 2 and 14. So I'm not under any ordinance either. And this modern day ordinance is for a corporation, a code, a business. You're a business is what you are if you live in this corporation. This is not a country. This is not a nation state. There were 13, remember, original states, but that's all long gone. It's been a long time since this has happened. It doesn't matter. It's still happening today. And they're going to bring in their final Trump, if you will. They're playing their 1945 rebirthing of this 7th revealed as the, what are you whining for? Would you like to go outside for 5 minutes and then want to come back inside? I got 2 wives here. Look at this one. Oh, you just want love all the time. There's that one. And then you want to go outside and then you want to change your clothes every 5 minutes. How do I look, honey? Is there a wrong answer or right answer to that, honey? Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Does my butt look big in this, honey? Is there a wrong answer to that, honey? So, all right, let me let my dogs out and then the one in 5 minutes. So it's like having a couple ladies in the house that want to change their clothes every 5 minutes, huh? That's all right. We take care of them. I love my puppies, and they're my boys. Oh, what a good boy. Oh, what a good guy. I love this boy. Okay, give me a second. Oh, no kisses. I can't give dad kisses. Let me let him out. So, all right, let's go outside. Come on. All done. All done. All done. Outside. Oh, your brother wants to go out. You go out, hang out. It's almost dark. It's not dark yet. It's not dark yet. It's not dark yet. Oh, man. See how the bread turned out here. Oh, heck yeah. Oh, man, that's outstanding. Wow. Doesn't mean you go on dates with men. What's all this? Man, they're just lagging my chat out, guys. Yeah. Thanks for the teaching there, Hughes. It's a little bit of satire added with the truth. The mandate is for a corporation, so not for a person. And so, yep, their hand has been taken as a corporation and they're subrogating, right? Well, yeah, they've taken it under their merchant number. So no subrogation, no right, no, yeah, they separated them. So from their by birthright. They've taken it. They're children. So that's what happens when you're a child and you don't speak up, and somebody has to speak up for you. And that's what's going on in this American. So whether you like it or not, it's corporation. So once again, I don't go on dates with men or follow mandates, because those are for corporations, and that's why everything's written in capital letters under your straw or merchant number. Man, Tin Man, tax ID, corporate bonded by your slave labor sold on the stock exchange. You're a slave, debt slave. The freest nation. Well, how come everybody's in debt? So they spend $1 trillion. I could give you $1 million every day. You have to come back for 360,000 years for me to pay off just $1 trillion. And they're spending $1 trillion. Well, now 1.5, because remember, people forgot about compound interest every 100 days. So that's the inflation creation machine, baby, robbing you of your purchasing power. So you're ready to go over to their new digital communist, right, system. That's where it's coming. Just socially credit scoring you if you're a good little citizen, good little robot. Number 5, alive. Are you alive? He's breathing. We got one that's alive. We got one that can see. That's Daniel Alexander Cannon. He plays that one on the $1 million a day. Would take me 360,000 years. Remember warp speed? Remember they did an 8-hour or an 8-month jab? Less time it takes a woman coming to a child. Now 48 hours, like Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. Your government's got personal fit like a snapback or a Velcro hat. It's going to go inside and fix everything that's wrong with you because the government loves you. And they already took that $500 billion. So that would be 180,000 years at $1 million a day. The first day they came in, remember that we created this 48-hour warp speed jab or whatever. The government loves you. So snakes up the pole. They'll be fooled by sorcery. If you look at the word, it's called pharmakia. Snakes up the pole. So get your boosters, and government loves you, and stand in line and get your free boosters. It's a cheat test, not a free. It's a free test, not a cheat test. So 1, 2. This is how you vaccinate. Well, I'm a farmer, so this is how you vaccinate cattle. And 3, this is how you vaccinate sheep. 4, 5. Oh, that's not very nice. Oh, you can't say whack the nation. Got to be careful with that word. So my bad. They don't like when you talk about some of there's trigger words. Darn it. Shouldn't have said that. Got to say whack the nation. Right? So how about a booster? The great bow to the altar of Jabba. Are you one of those that got the warp speed jab? It's okay. I know people, they got, programmed. Every other thing on your internet was like, oh, the government loves you. The government wants to scare you. If you don't take this jab, you don't love old people. If you don't wear this face diaper and act like a child, you don't want old people to stay alive. But don't worry, you can't go to your funeral, or you can't go to any, your child care, all these different, things that they stop people. But hey, let's have a masquerade on television, and we'll have George Floyd have a funeral with nobody wearing any mask. The porn star George Floyd, who asked to be laid on the ground high on fentanyl. Yeah, CIA operative too. The guy's got a history, but no one else look at it. So yes, Mr. I Can't Breathe, another I Can't Breathe ritual. Just like they strapped Christ back and he couldn't breathe. That's pretty offensive, don't you find that? That's why it's your I Can't Breathe ritual too. It's the age of, not water. That's over. It's the age of air. Yeah, this is it. Revelation. We're in the last book. You might want to get with the times. It's not 2025, you lunatic. Who told you it's 2025? You go by your pagan, whatever, Satan, lunar. That's not, the New Year's does not start in the middle of the winter. Get out of here. You're a Satanist. April Fools. Stop celebrating anything. I'm not supposed to celebrate anything under this covenant, especially self. And especially the birth of oneself. There's only 2 birth dates in all of Scripture. That's about how hard that study is. I don't care. You can look through all of it. And one was Satan. Satan's the adversary. Apollyon, Mithra, the one that Donald Trump has his house decorated with. Why would you vote for somebody twice? Time magazine's Hitler, man. Oh, I said it out. Oh well. Another trigger word. Whatever. Adolf, he was the 7th king. Go watch Informed Christian channel. He can be the backup on it. There's certain qualifications to be the 7th king. The 7th king will be revealed as a spiritual antichrist. So you already see this 1945 ritual being played out right now. That's why Musk said Pearl Harbor. They compared Ukraine to Pearl Harbor. They already clipped the copper penny. They did this from 42 to 45. A nickel costs 14 cents nearly to make. So I don't hear this crap about copper penny costing too much to make. Warp Speed clipped that, didn't he? Contact the that's right there enough to have him impeached. You cannot take away our means. It should be in gold and silver. So every one of these presidents since, who took that away? Nixon, old tricky dick. Remember the convertibility in 1971 when France came over here? Do we want our gold back? Gold back. It was pretty funny, huh? How about silver? Silver competes against gold. You can't control the two metals when they compete against each other. You know nothing about the degradation of this nation state, now a corporation, an apostate nation using, 1,000 military bases, the war machine. Remember, that's what Roger Waters called it. Eisenhower warned of the military-industrial complex. Here we are today, going at warp speed. Now they got space balls. I mean, farce. Sticky Muskrat with his Starlink. Remember, he's all Doge, Department of Government Efficiency. Now Thump's kicking him out, right? Yeah, right. These people play little silly reindeer games with you there, Rudolph. Like the little red nose. Get a little rosé in your cheek there or something. What are you putting on, a little blush? Uh-oh, we got one that's changing, bending. Raggedy Ann wants Andy's button, and Andy wants Raggedy Ann's pocket. We got a little Jack and Jill going up the hill. A little Humpty Dumpty. Yeah, whatever. I'm going to go do some Andrew Dice Clay on you guys. Seriously. Good stuff. Thank you. Connection, you're freaking so over it. Silver, good stuff. Silver is the lifeblood of the military-industrial complex, though. Remember, are you a buffalo herder? You are a buffalo. Are you a buffalo herder? Yes. I think David is a he's a closet buffalo. He's a closet buffalo herder. He's got a whole herd of them pinned in, probably somewhere in a box. But he doesn't have to tell where he's got him, probably somewhere in a box. But he doesn't have to tell where he's got his buffalo. Buffalo herder? Are you a buffalo farmer? Anyways, they like this. Oh, nice. Absolute Mercury dimes. Nice. Cool. You know what I like? Mercury dimes. Nice. Cool. You know what I like about dimes, David, is there's 14 transactions in 1 ounce. Very smart, David. I have a kind of a thing for fractional myself. 14 transaction, 90% silver, not 999. Well, 9999 fine if you're talking about from Maples. Well, 24K magic's in the air. So transactions, David, transactions. If you can help people with this, because it kind of I help, whatever. It's just we know, because it obviously a quarter always bought historically a gallon of gas. A silver quarter, 1964 orders, 90% silver. So what I like is this. Okay, you're saying you want 1 ounce, which is 31.3 grams, right? And you'll take an ounce. Now it's 14 of these dimes. David, just work with me here for a little bit, for a second. Are you sure you won't take 13 dimes? Come on, man, help a brother out. Maybe all I got is 13 dimes. So it's 14 of these to make up 1 of these ounces. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Silver's only heavy when silver's $1,000 an ounce, and I'm not saying it's going to be $1,000 an ounce. That's stupid. A Bitcoin could be 110,000 to 0 and 1 on a computer. I don't think silver would be so heavy. Then gold bugs will give us silver bugs a hard time, don't they? Yeah, silver won't be heavy when it's $1,000 an ounce. So, okay, so you see what I'm saying, David? What you could do at that point is where there's 14 transactions, instead of trying to just have to give up, because normally that's what gold is, an amazing thing. It's in a tremendous amount of wealth stored in a small space. It has its purpose. I'm a silver bug. Just everybody's different. Most people don't even, there's not a $900 billion market cap. There's not even a one. This is like the tip of the spear. So anyways, 14 transactions to make 1 ounce of silver. So there's 14 silver dimes to make 1 gold ounce. So if all you had was ounces, you'd have to give up that whole ounce. You never even gave your chance. Look, there's 14. Cool. To even try to keep a dime. And so, hey, would you take 13 and, help a brother out? How about this? I'll play a card on you. Come on, man, I'm a veteran. Can't you help a veteran out? You can't take 13 dimes. So I like the idea of using that as a transaction. As there's 14 of you in here, now 13, somebody bailed on you. So 13 dimes it is sold, right? So I like the ability to do that. So I call them transactions because now you have 14 transactions. And that's the same problem that people are going to have by buying and purchasing gold. And I'm not saying to purchase any metals. So I'm not giving any economic advice at all. The government loves you. Keep King Dollar, man. King Dollar. So paper payments, huh? A nation that traded its minerals for paper payments. So yes, Ryan. Actually, at the time of Rome, they valued gold and silver 1 to 1. They sold Christ for 30 pieces into slavery to silver, right? Obviously. But remember, silver and gold were valued 1 to 1 at the time of Rome. So the ratio is now about 90 something. Historically, it's been at about 100 now for a while. So it's all about ratio to me. I don't care about the price is irrelevant. Price is a tool of manipulation. You're not going to care how much you paid for it between $1 or $2 or some of these premiums that are just recently people getting into this market. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. So saying it's gold backed or silver backed, or that's stupid. If you don't have it in your hands, you don't own it. So there's a premium now for owning it, and it's starting to creep up. This has got the ground. And if you took all the surface silver that's out there, and if you took all the surface silver that's out there, enough if you like socially divided this across, everybody can only have 8 ounces of silver each. So if you have more than 8, you got somebody else's silver. You took somebody else's silver. Shh. Hey. You took somebody else's silver. Shh. Hey. Maybe you got more than 8 buffaloes. It takes 12 of these ounces. Well, they don't like any problems till we start talking about silver, huh? Save lives. They're like 5,000 throw their gold and silver in the streets. They already are. People, their gold and silver have never been worth 0. Ever. I know you can't eat it. If you're sitting next to a gold bar, 1,000-ounce Comex bar, or a 1,000-ounce Comex silver bar, you're starving. You ain't going to care about the gold bar or silver bar. So food is very important. It's the new gold and silver water. It is. Water and food is the new gold and silver. I would definitely recommend having a very large store that forever participate in any of these precious metal markets. But this has many more usages other than just as a monetary metal. It's an industrial metal. It's used in photovoltaics. It's been used as an antimicrobial, bacterial, and such things as colloidal silver. Again, they put this in. I put it in my water filtration, my Berkey filters, to keep it so I don't have to clean my filters, to keep any bacteria from growing in my filters. They put it in milk. This is the most reflective, most conductive metal used in war machine. This fuels the lifeblood of the military industrial complex. I gotta let my dogs in. Hold on one second, guys. Hey, take a pause for the cause here. I'm gonna take just a moment, a break, go out and go check out the stars and see how dark it is. I think we'll go see what the stars look like here in a moment. I'll be back in a flash. Well, I appreciate that, guys. Wow, let's turn that light back on here so we can see what we're doing. Well, that sky out there in this desert just paints that sky on. It changes so rapidly. I sit out there and it just changes right in front of your eyes. Pretty amazing. That last of the light was going down there, so we had not the best sunset I've ever seen, but man, the sunsets out here are just to die for. So I've got some pretty good. Might have one on here. Here's a. I don't know, my average night out here. That's what it looked like there. There we go. I've never seen the skies painted like I have in this desert. This is the largest dark sky sanctuary in the world, 2.5 million acres set apart, protected from light pollution. So a very unique place. Just some unbelievable sunsets out here that would just melt your mind. Sunsets. I've showed some pictures before of some of the sunsets out here in this valley. So, and it just changes so rapidly. You know, it doesn't. About every 10 or 15 seconds, as that sun, goes down, it just continues to change. So, yeah, the stream is glitchy. I just seen that. I'm sure it is. I'm out here in the middle of the desert. We did have an X flare. Remember, we did have a solar X flare. So do try to remember that Sweden. No, nothing got sorted out. Swedish moose. Huh. I fell in love with a Swiss mocha girl when I was young. Maybe it just had to do something with I'm a Werner, my last name Werner, W-E-R-N-E-R. So not German, but Swiss. So, but anyway, that's not. All right. Anyways, let me show you something here too that they've been prepared for this event. I want to show you an image here that's pretty important if we've got some kind of connection. You see every one of these dots on this here? You see these dots? I'm going to show you that they know of everything that is coming. Everything that is coming. Everything that is coming. Okay? These dots represent potentially cataclysmic, right? Say this. Cataclysmic, civilization ending, catastrophic events of the last 150,000 years and or previous great year cycles. You want to read that? This is what this. So each one of these dots is going to represent when we had one of these extinction or catastrophic events. So I'm going to bring you to an image that's not easy to find. And some people ask, wait, but look, this is through the paleoclimatology records, through all the strata, the ice core data, you can go in and find that all these events are dated and marked. Look, each one of these dots is marked by a year that these events happened. Each one of these events happened. See, each one of these goes back to the time and date that it happened. Okay, so is everybody tracking? You see these dots? I'm going to show you something. These people have known exactly where we're at for thousands of years. And these people play stupid. A lot of people want to play games, but they know exactly where we're at right now. So this dot represents a civilization ending or a catastrophic event, or what is we known as our extinction cycles. Okay? So these dots, if we'll pull this back out, these are all the celestial types of like Aquarius, right? Let's go to the age of yellow. They don't happen in the gray. They only happen, and if you notice, they always happen like a clock at these 3, 6, and 9, and 12 positions. So if you notice, these are extinction events. 6,000 years ago, come on, camera, focus. We had what was known as the Noah event, okay, where this whole rock was flooded. here we are 6,000 or 12,000 years into the future, into this, right? 6,000 into the 12,000 year extinction cycle. Here's another one. They don't want you to see this image. Known to this year extinction cycle. Here's another one. They don't want you to see this image. Known to this event that we're in right now. These super cycles. This is this event that we're in right now. These super cycles. This is this super cycle that they're not, people are not paying attention. You can go online right now and you can look. This are not hiding that we have entered into the 6th extinction cycle. And extinction doesn't mean everything dies. That's not what extinction is. So there's been 5 extinction events already, and everything that's still here on this rock made it through the last 5. We're now in the 6th. Are you going to make it through this one? You already have been for, well, when did that 6th extinction cycle start? Did anybody know? Can anybody tell me? When did we enter in the 6th extinction cycle? Anybody follow any of the prior, mass, die offs, not completely die, because remember, there's still grasshoppers and cucumbers and avocados and strawberries and lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. Everything that made it through the last 5 is still here. People hear the word extinction and they think everything is, that's not how that works. So just like they hear the word evolution and they think, oh, I'm going to grow a new thumb, or, we're going to get another, I don't know, a kickstand to lean on or something, It's not what evolution is. So remember, Darwin renounced his whole theory of evolution, So if man evolved from apes, why are there still apes? So what's that all about? Huh. So interesting how people don't pay attention, and that they've known of these events that have been coming for hundreds, if not thousands of years. So this is something that they're not even hiding anymore. They're getting ready, and they have been ready now, I believe, for quite some time. They're just waiting for the sun to do its final solar event and take the grid down, and they're already prepared. They have a system already in play that they're going to use, and lights out scenario. And I'm sure before that time there'll be some events that will lead up to that, because they love to do their false flag events, if you will. They did a blind 11. Now that next event will be 9/23, not on the date of 9/23. It's already being revealed. 9/23 is the birth where the dragon will be there to consume the child. That ritual of the Second World War is now being played out again in the third, right in front of your eyes, but people don't see it happening, and that's okay. I'm not here to try to fix any of it, change anything. Already did my tour of service, military police from the beginning to the end of the war, prisoners of war, last ones to go. So not going to serve this beast anymore, and just going to keep calling it out till they throw me in the dirt, standing up on 10 toes, not as down on my knees like a slave, but standing 10-toe until whatever happens. I'd rather stand as a, with his word and wear the armor of the Father, instead of being a corporation on my knees like a slave, going by mandates and codes and ordinances, and not standing up for things I know much, much wiser than that. So judge that shall be judged. I'm not a corporation. I only operate in a private capacity. I don't operate in commerce. So it is what it is. People are not going to see it coming. It's going to happen whether they like it or not, because it's already happening. They already clipped the penny, and the nickel cost nearly 14 cents to make. So that's about as lame ass excuse as I think I've ever heard to take away your rights, the right to make change. It's supposed to be in gold and silver. Copper was just, obviously, they've been using the cent, or what is known as the penny. I guess America makes no sense. Get it? Not one. So what an apostasy. A nation that traded its minerals for paper payments, and now just zeros and ones on a computer, and everybody's okay that, or plastic. I'm a plastic man. You know me. That's not what the song says. It's classic. But anyways, I'm more the classic. I like gold and silver. God's money, you know. But anyways, go contact your Schwab or economic advisor for making any economic moves. 80% of the gains are made in the last 20% of the market. So that's a fact, Jack. But that's not economic advice. Will you be hanging in until the end, or will you get out too early? They like to, FOMO these markets, right? No, people do that automatically. They're already out of the markets. These people are in something new. It's the people who are buying it at the last melt up, blow off top. FOMO, the fear of missing out. David, the best thing you do is find communities. Start eating organically. Get your strength up as high as you can. Get your spiritual mindset above all. Your house, and try to get around people who want to survive, but not by fighting, by like try to get away more than anything. That's what I've been trying to be. Wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove. Have an exit plan and go before it's too late. You'd rather be 5 years too early than 5 seconds too late, right? So that's, you got to listen to your instincts. Like a bird, don't need to be told fly south for the winter. So if you got something that's poking at your slide, listen to it. People lost their instincts. They can't even forage. 3 generations ago, you can go into the woods and forage. Now they need drive-throughs. Remember, Piggly Wiggly or the whatever Safeway. Well, I don't know what side of this corporation you're on, but some of us aren't in this because this is a worldwide north, east, west, and south. Get with the news. This is a worldwide ministry. So we're larger than mega churches. We make mega churches look tiny. But thank you, Father, for that, because we don't care about the numbers. It's not, there are a smaller group of people who regularly show up and are able to sup in this daily gospel that we love to, sometimes it takes some time off. It gets a little, we got things to do. There's a large ministry. There's 20 acres and I have a lot of responsibility. Remember, I was just trying to add a whole nother piece of property to the ministry, but that didn't work out. So it's okay. It's freeing up some funding so we can move the ministry, not this one. The ministry is paid off, so we get the ministry down in South America too. And that'll be amazing, so I can send food to you guys in the ministry. So tithing is food. So all the time and all the comments and all the time that everybody spent here, I think the least that I could do is, hopefully Father will provide the bodies to takes some time, not to just grow it on your own, but have bodies to do this. But it would be much more conducive down there than in here. But I am daily working on this geothermal garden now and going to get this one to create abundance. And so going to keep pushing. And, you need to try to create a separate supply chain and separate yourself no matter where you're at to create your own abundance. Abundance is because you don't have abundance because you're probably some other supply chain. You need to try to cut that or localize it as much. Go back to your like farmers markets or so when these big you go to the grocery store and when these power goes out, you can't buy anything because it's all on a digital ledger. They won't even let you pay for cash. So there'll be no transactions if something like that happen again. So the best thing you can do is find something again ahead of time and put it away for a rainy day. So you're not down there fighting people for the last box, bag, or canned food, or roll a teepee for your bunghole. Things like this are, and then have an escape route, try to leave before everybody else does. And that's very hard to do when things happen, come suddenly. But that's why you're supposed to be wise as a serpent. And probably, somebody smart is going to have already left town, and let me give you a little, it's not going to be the end of the world, but things are already breaking down. Weather comes in, tornadoes, got people try to get out of town. The fastest way out of town will be the shortest way out of town, right? No, the shortest way out of town is going to be the slowest way out of town because that's the route everybody's going to take. So probably the slowest way out of town is going to be the fastest way. Remember that if that day comes because of weather. I'm not one of these end of the world idiots. I don't do that. I hate fear porn. If people don't prepare, then they're just going to end up burdening somebody else. Having some extras is, better to have and not need than need not have. Fail need preparers, preparing to fail. You want to fail, don't do anything about it. Be one of these people that try to take advantage of, be an opportunist and go overcome somebody else. when that day comes. Maybe somebody would be smart enough and you might get away with it, but you ain't going to get away with it forever, because maybe that person will have split their and cashed half of it and go, honey, let's go. Give it to him. No, please don't kill us. We got to go. Please just take it. No, honey, that's all we got. Shut up, shutty. Let's go. All right, let's say it. We're out of here. We already had a plan. So just please have extras, things like a water filter. Man, just this alone would change your day if things were tough. You go a lot of days without eating. Now, you probably haven't never missed a whole day, or let alone meals. And that are the people I'd be more concerned about. I think governments and stuff, and this is going to happen. There are going to be a lot of moving. We see a lot of movement of governments. But I think if you got away from this, they're going to go for the low-hanging fruit to begin with. Yeah, that's just, I don't know. We'll see. I don't get them all right. You know, you get 99 right and 1 wrong, and nobody cares about the 99 ones you got right. So I'm making predictions. But I know for sure, if you had something like this, you will never need another water filter ever again for the rest of your life. This is the extra oil for your lamp. Thank you, Connection. And maybe a little extra dab oil too, because that's a good way to compound a bunch of medicine. It's almost like gold, and I'm not saying that because silver's like gold, but I'm just saying extra oil. Maybe, you know, your medicinal is cannabis or something like that. So some extra, you know, oil. I'm just saying there's many ways to put that oil up. I was going straight up. Look at his name. So whatever. Some of us don't want to go to the Mexican American cabinet and don't want the side effects from the farm guy. No thanks. I don't want to get hooked up to your, you know, take this one and that one. You got to get this effect to that effect, you know. But anyway, so water filter. This one filters 100,000 gallons of water. This is like $20 or less, I think, right now. That's incredible. That you could have this for the rest of your life and never need another water filter. I've used the Life Straws. These have amazing, you know, reviews too. So something like this changes a game changer. I don't want to tell people they can't be prepared. Bull crap. So many people have 50, 100 video games. Go trade in on your whole system, but go trade in a couple games. You know, go to one of your stops, GameStop or one of these trade stores or whatever they're called or whatever, and trade something in and trade it for something like this. Stick that in your sock drawer. Get a power inverter. Stick that in your sock drawer. Get a wind turbine. Stick that in the closet. You know, you can start getting prepared now. And then when you know, there's ways people, I was talking with Kevin earlier about this, that people say they can't get prepared. I don't want to hear it. Yes, you can. Make some sacrifices in your life. You maybe have some extras, things that you don't, you know, and if not, there's people who will help you. I know that Father will provide for people who want, not opportunists that are trying to take advantage of people. I didn't say that. Father does provide for people who want to help themselves. So he doesn't want us to help people who don't want to help themselves either. So I try to have extra oil for foolish virgins. Now, last time the foolish virgins got the door slammed in their face, like Noah, remember? So, but I'm going to try to have extra oil this time. Fish and bread, if you will, to feed, you know, the foolish virgins that were not wise. They look a little diabetic. Stoner, throw them a jar of peanut butter and a spoon before we let them over here. They look like they're in some shock. And so, you know, help people out, help a brother out, give him some rice and beans, you know, give him something to quell violence with food. Save food, save lives, maybe. I'm not trying to save nobody's life, bro. I'm just trying to quell violence. I don't like violence. I'm a pacifist. If I could see people, and no violence is bull crap, peace, Jesus. I'm not saying that, but there are ways to thrive in an environment where people are just barely surviving. The little things you can put up now. What does Nate at Canadian Preppers say? 1 day today is like 100 days when the lights go out. It's going to take you 100 days. What's going to accomplish? That don't make you get off your 4-point contact and get motivated to do something. Obviously, David, I talked about it earlier. I ate a Mountain House meal. Please go to subscribe to Canadian Prepper, probably one of the top channels on YouTube, been millions of numbers, but producing now a backup channel or his other channel called Prepper News. So if you want the news with what's going on in Ukraine, Iran, and you want to kind of keep the preparedness stuff straight, he does videos with his kids, his family, talks about his greenhouse getting off, grid, that type of thing. It's going to be at Prepper, Canadian Prepper. And then he moved all the news over to Prepper News. So, okay, so freeze-dried food is going to be, it has longevity by good quality. I ate a Mountain House meal on the stream earlier. I've had the ability to freeze dry my own food through this company and have had Harvest Right freezers. That's a great way. And the price is they call them like backpacking meals. Okay, so don't buy none of these crap stuff that's pancake mix and desserts and mashed potatoes and rice and things that you can do in your home and put in Mylar bags. You want to buy companies that have a heavy protein, like Mountain House. That's an Oregon company out of Albany. It's excellent food, and I've never had any problems or complaints about not one of the meals I tried. I tried the curry for the first time the other day, and it was fabulous. I mean, it was absolutely fabulous. The teriyaki chicken was knocked it out of the park. I love the turkey dinner. Some of these they don't even make anymore. But they'll last for 25 years. And yeah, I have MREs, but they're, and they're nice to just throw in for a change, but they're a little heavier. They're a little bulkier. They're not camping meals. Okay. I'm a veteran. You don't want to have to eat MREs for any extended period of time. When I was in the military, it was only 9 field ration meals ready to eat, not hot, but there's warmers in them. And now there's a ton of them, but I'm old and, served in the night. And, I'm not that damn old, but I'm old enough to where there was only 9, but there's a good fair number of them. And a lot of those are they're fun too, because I don't mean to go bad. And I've had some with Kevin. He never had any. And, I got some sitting right over here. Oh, pull one out, man. Pull one out. A minute. There's an MRE. Meals ready to eat. And all these countries do. These are military rations. Okay? And these are nice. I mean, they have their ability, but you don't want to eat these all the time. You can get by with eating this and throwing this in. Yeah, that's where I serve Desert Storm, Desert Shield. So, shit. Okay, there you go. These kind of have things in here that kind of help slow down a little bit of your digestive process. They won't totally constipate you, okay, guys? But they do kind of help so you're not pooping as much in the field, okay? Okay, there we go. Thank you, Connection. Knows what I'm talking about, guys. You don't want to eat these on a regular basis. These will stop you up, okay? These are not always, try to, when I did a lot of training, did a lot of stuff in Alaska, did a lot of stuff for the military that, yeah, Mountain House is a much better product. I mean, there's meat in every bite. It's heavy protein, and they're just really good quality. They taste like home cooked meals. Many of them are very good food, just as they are. I stuck a crap load of pepper in that beef stroganoff earlier today, and that was fire. That pepper made that just great. So, but like in here, there's a little bit of, I'm so old, they used to have the glass Tabasco bottles, like that's a game changer. Somebody trades you near like a, a whole meal for that Tabasco bottle if it was a meal they didn't like the blue egg omelet is what it was. It wasn't even green eggs. It was ham and cheese, but it was the omelet. There you go. I gotta change it. Okay, so Stoner understands what I'm saying, obviously here. So, but these is a variant are good to throw in, because they do have some kind of, normally there's a candy, a beef jerky, there's some kind of something with a candy in there and some kind of hot sauce. normally a coffee, you know, the basic, you know, the things. There's a moist toilet, you know, there is, you know, there used to be matches. There's a warmer in here to warm it up. You know, like I said, when I did all my I did Arctic training and military mountaineering and whatever, a lot of Arctic training and stuff. But this is when I was in Alaska. Okay, when I was doing all my training up there. I had to go from Alaska to Hawaii. That'll freaking all right. Anyways. Heat to the dead of the dead. All right. Anyways, all over the place. But anyways, this in Alaska with that warmer was a challenge to heat up, you know, obviously, but did work. But you don't normally have that kind of time in the field. You don't. You eat it now and you burp it up and you taste it later. So, anyways, these are fun to throw in if somebody's never had one. They're kind of cool to like spread them out, you know, and I'm eating a lot of my rations right now because, you know, I plan on 5 or 6 or 8 people being in my life right now and I don't have them. So I've been eating this food that I thought other people were going to share with me and nobody ever came. You know, Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. Nobody ever came. So, oh well, I still got plenty of food. Me and Kevin shut the gates here. There's enough food for him and I to stay here for 10 years. And I got ways to pad it. Other ways to grow more food. I got hordes of seeds, you know, seed vaults and that kind of, you know, whatever. It's better to have and not need than need and not have. So remember, I thought I was feeding foolish virgins too. So maybe that day will come. We'll see. And I'll be able to help, not try to just protect my stuff. I'll literally try to build back the community. Not like Joe Biden, build back better. Put the Biden in. We're going to steal that from him and take that back like never mind. I was going to do that movie. I'm not going to talk about it. But anyways, don't do movies right now. But preparedness is something. There's a lot of ways to go. A freeze dryer, I talked about it earlier. That you know, I was eating some tri-trip from 2019. That was fabulous. Preparedness is a lifestyle, so it's something you don't just pick up and do and go hoard the bunch of the store. And now I'm prepared. That's normally when people buy these crap buckets, and that's what they're hoping that you'll go stick it in your closet. And you'll never eat it. And that's that pancake mix and soup base and you know, rice and things, pastas, things that you can do on your own. You can put in a Mylar bag. There's nothing wrong, again, with just going straight up to the store right now. If you're not prepared, you don't need nothing other than a water filter. Go buy one of those big bags. I got some over that jasmine rice. It's fabulous. That jasmine rice is off the chain. You know what I'm saying? Look at this. Rice, those bags, beans, and then maybe beef bouillon, chicken bouillon, you know, tomato bouillon, something to flavor these rice. And then you're not chopping off your, you know, your neighbor's head to, because your children's, you know, and yours is never, you just been lapped the luxury of an American. So things like this is going to be a great way. Put them in Mylar bags, put oxygen absorbers in there, and they'll last for 20, 25 years. There we go, Ryan. Good stuff. Thank you for your testimony. So you don't have to get all advanced, guys. This will get you by, okay, if you need it. Start your preps with that. Get a couple of those buckets, 5-gallon buckets, shove them in the closet. That's just as good as half of that preparedness stuff. Get some mashed potatoes. Get some rice. Get some beans. You know, these things you can get on your own. Get some pancake mix. Put these in Mylar bags. Make sure you're getting the ones that are 7 mil. 7 mil. You don't need to worry about vacuum. Put an oxygen absorber in there. You actually don't want to puncture the seal and get a hole in it. So you want to keep it. This is actually some candy. Ugh. Some kind of peach rings or something. It looked like I opened them up and they kind of collapsed back down on themselves. But so we do blew up some kind of peach rings or something like that. I did these for morale. You know, I did mostly protein, but 7 mil. Don't get anything smaller than a 7 mil. Mylar bags. No windows. There's generally two things that make food go bad. And hey, look at that. The sun. All right, but we're taking a bath under the light there. But I don't do the whole, that can puncture your seal. So an oxygen, you buy one of these camping meals, they're not all shrunken like that. So don't worry about having a vacuum sealer, as far as you can use you can even use like, they got a lot of ways to seal this. You can use like one of those, because they have the sealers, okay, that you can do if it gets warm enough and double seal these. But what have I used before? Like one of those ladies' crimpers, hair crimper. You can seal that with a woman's hair crimper. You can seal these bags, okay? They sell ways to seal them too. There are like a sealer mill that will seal a mylar. You got to make sure you're getting the right one, but don't skimp on that. You're not going to want that to go bad for 25 years. Yeah, a straightener. You got it, connection. I did for a while before I ever got, one I used and it worked good. I got one of that little bar. I just hold it down, make sure I, just pulled it across and it worked just fine. None of these were done with this. You can actually tell that was done. That's a double seal. I always double seal them. See that? I put one here and then one down here. And I double seal all mine. But anyways, you can take and put this rice into these bags and stick them in a 5-gallon buckets and have a lot of peace of mind. And maybe you can grab an extra bucket for your neighbors. Maybe they don't have any. A lot of people, you go into their houses, they don't have a lot of extra food. It's not common for people to have deep freezers, pantries, storm cellars, food cellars, root cellars. This is not a very common practice this day and age. Hey, you got the drive-through, you got the KFC buckets, the 3-breasted chickens, and the chicken look like doing nothing but lift weights. But anyways, no more Bob Sog for you there. But all right. Anyways, 7 mil Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers. Now you got something put away for a rainy day. You don't need to get all fancy. Step your game up from there. Sometimes you'll see people selling these online. You can, most people don't know that. I didn't know that, but somebody pointed out to me that you can, you can buy fruit trees. The people who have a food stamp card or whatever, there's people who need food. If they need food and they qualify for it, you can buy seeds on those cards, and they're limiting a lot of these people now, which is good to see. People buying snacks and crap and junk. Buy some damn food for your kids. Stop buying them freaking junk food. Now, it's hard if you're in the inner city because there's not a lot. That's a problem too, guys, that I've looked into this too. So, but you can buy preparedness meals such as Mountain House on the assistance card, on the food cards. So that's something that people can even get access to. And that's another saving grace for some people, okay, who don't have access to good food. Maybe if they can get a ride into some, inner city or something, because I've actually looked into and found that the most overweight population is the poorest. And what the hell is going on with that? How can the poorest people? Well, it's the quality of food that they're eating. They're eating out of these stores that don't have any fresh foods, and they're eating out of box and bagged and canned, if you will, liquor store is what we called it too growing up. And it didn't literally mean liquor, but, the convenience store food. There's really not very much fresh vegetables, fresh meat. They're just eating macaroni and cheese and maybe tuna fish in a can, but there's very little quality. Okay. So that's very important too. You put away food, you want a better quality food. But what I found, again, it was the quality of the food that these people were eating. So again, what somebody said here? That's a good idea. Well, good. If you could, David, you know what I'm saying? But again, that's when I did my studies, because I could find, how can the most overweight population be the poorest? They're not eating very good quality food. Okay. So you want to think about that too. When things break down, you want your morale level to be high. Little things like, that's why they put such things as like a little thing of M&Ms, or like, a trail mix with M&Ms in it or something. You know, there's normally some kind of little sugary treat inside this little bit, and your energies, normally you're burning energy in a situation like that. If you're in a little bit stressful, you're active and stuff, you're going to burn up a little sugar. It's not going to be the end of the road. And sometimes that little sugar, you know, take, for example, if I wanted to build my community and I didn't want to just shoot everybody because that's a stupid idea, you go pick up the dead people. You ever had to deal with a dead body? Pick up dead people, smell dead people, been around any of that? Be responsible for, you know, you want to deal with that with your buddy? That'd stress you out, huh? One of you shot him, you'd go get him. I don't know, it's starting to stink, man. Come on. You know, that's a bad idea to sit there and shoot and save everything you have. I would think you'd having some extra in here, throw that guy some peanut butter in a spoon. He looks like he's a little diabetic there. You know, before we let him in, we might on the inside or, you know, a little further in, as I talked about this before, start people on just rice, you know, and some beans. You know, canned vegetables will make this rice go a long way. So rice and maybe beans, and the next day rice and vegetables. And on the third day, maybe I'll add red tomato paste, you know, Knorr's tomato bouillon, and there's better than that, I'm just saying. And that's Spanish rice, the kind you get off a taco truck style, not the wet, you know, with the little peppers and piment, you know, but that style, taqueria style rice. I've been in the food industry. That's all you need to add. Don't add anything else to it. You'll kill it. It's got that perfect, that and some refried beans. Holy crap, we got Spanish today, boys. The next day, put some chicken stock on that white rice. Well, now we got chicken rice. You don't have to add any meat to it right there. Maybe you break it up and you do corn with that or something. I don't know, chicken, rice, and corn. Hey, chicken and corn, you know, whatever. I don't eat corn. Ugh. You know, I made some corn bread or something, but okay, but there you go. And then maybe on the 6th day, you know, we're seeing if you can maintain yourself, you can have beef bouillon on rice and maybe, you know, we'll do some mixed vegetables this time, and 3 M&Ms. 3 M&Ms. 3 M&Ms on day 7. Boy, that's a game changer, isn't it? Are you going to eat those? I'm eating them less. That's a game changer. See why these little morale boosters and stuff like that? You know, my whole idea wasn't to just shoot everybody. The whole idea was to have enough to try to provide others and build back and extort everybody for their skill set. Everybody can do something. Come on. Not everybody's just a freaking lame duck. Get grandma over here. Get her over here. That lady knows how to wash tinfoil. She knows how to can. She knows how to dry. She knows how to crochet, cross stitch. Get her over here. She knows the old ways. Don't move her over here in the line. What do you mean? There's rules here. You can go out and forage in your local area, tell the people what to eat and what not to eat. You know what I'm saying? Don't eat that mushroom. Who was the first person who ate that mushroom? We got to give it to the first person who ate the mushroom. That one looks like that. I don't know. We'll let you know. We'll call your family if it doesn't work out. So, sure, they always push this stuff connection too. Not new news. So, widely prescribed used to be obviously in soda. Not the first time they've pushed a, you know, but again, lots of ways again to have, you know, morale boosters, little things like, and I don't like sugar at all. Okay. I don't even want to talk about it, but a little bit's not going to hurt you. Okay. It's not the end of the world. So little things like that would lift your morale. That's a very neat thing about these freeze dryers, brothers, sisters, the things you could create, the desserts and freeze drying fruit turns it into candy. I mean, it literally turns, this stuff is so sweet because there's no moisture in it. It's already sweet, if you will. I talked about this earlier. So, but you don't have to go all out. Little things like this make a huge difference. You know, so being something like this is how I was hoping to, you know, be able to, instead of trying to just take everybody out, maybe we could try to use the people that, for their resources, and we could build, and if not there, I'd have enough land and enough space. You know what I'm saying? I thought M&Ms were purpley for getting people to do what you don't want to. Okay, nice. That's pretty silly. So, but little things like that, even at something like that, just throw an applesauce into the mix, something sweet, makes a big difference. So, that's kind of my thoughts too, guys, with that. So please, preparedness is something I constantly talk about. It's a lifestyle. You don't just jump into this overnight. It's something you have to build up stores, and something you do on a regular basis. And you just go to the store and you buy a little extra every time you go. And you put that into your stores, and you should rotate your stores. Make sure you're eating your older stuff and doing a kind of rotation. And just little things like this, it makes such a huge difference, though. You know what I'm saying? There are ways to absolutely thrive, though. And I mean just thrive in an environment. It does not take a whole bunch of people either, too, brothers and sisters. Find communities that are around you, that people are really trying to live a much more holistic, organic type lifestyle. They're cutting off the supply chains. They're becoming their own supply chains. This is not new. Families used to stay together. They didn't kick like a bird out, as soon as it could fly. Kings and queens put up gold and silver to store for their families and stayed together. So this whole idea of we all got to get a job and get out of the house and get out of here is, it's what still breaks my heart about my son. Just, oh well, it is what it is. But here I am doing what Father wants me to do. So be wise and have, some extra things. It's not going to hurt to, again, to put up something because you have it for later is a better idea. Just make sure you're storing it properly too. Sucks to see a lot of people. I shy away from canned food. Canned food isn't the way to short term. Sure, if it's going to be used quickly and it's not going to get overheated and cooled in 1 year, it's gone. It doesn't do what it used to do. There's all kinds of liners in it and stuff. So I discourage people to stay away from canned food. If you can take it and prep it, and put it in a barrel. They sell those barrels. You can put those under the ground and put them under the ground and try to keep it water. That'd be another way to keep it, temperature controlled. Then it would last. But if it gets too hot and too cold, it's gone, turns to mush. I don't care what it is, nearly, if it's a vegetable or anything like that. So I'm not saying you can't have canned meats, but that's another hard thing. Although I like pressure canning, and I love just pressure canning food because it just tastes amazing sometimes to cook something like that, pressure can it. Like stews and stuff, I love to take and put carrots and potatoes and meat, pressure can, and make that, and it's like a jar, is a mason jar is a meal, so, but there are better ways to preserve food. And then I'm always concerned about something like that it's going to break. Temperature control, that's got to be temperature control. But hey, people have stuff that's been canned that's lasted a long time, that sat in a root cellar. It didn't get too hot and didn't freeze and stayed within a climate control. So, well, that's a bummer. Yeah. Having your own birds, obviously having your own livestock is definitely the best way to provide for your own future, period. If I could get a few more people out here, we'll bring all the livestock back out here, because I've done it. I've raised chickens and sheep and goats and hogs and dogs. We've had the neighbors, cows out here. This is a working farm. This is Silver Rock Ranch. So it truly works and operates as a ranch. And although I don't have anything with dogs now, here again, I need more bodies here. I don't like to be wasteful. And again, I have just too many things on my list to be chasing. Not that I have to chase. The birds that I had were amazing, but the person that it gave them to, they just absolutely fell in love. And they needed them in their life. They needed that, checking on them and making sure they were in a slump. So it was a good thing. and they need that protein, daily in their life. So I'm glad that Father are able to provide, and the ducks are in a place now too where they have a huge, massive pond and all wire protected, and I'm sure separated. They're already. I told lady that there were 7. It was four. 3 drakes and 4 females, and they will produce, hatchlings and produce their own even without having. And I talked about those because I showed those on those duck eggs are absolutely amazing. But we'll get them back, what I'm saying, here soon. But I've got to get through building this geothermal garden, and I have a pretty big task of still now coming up with another $15,000 to buy that property in Ecuador, so I can go down there and start freeze drying all that food that I can't grow here. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm pretty excited about if Father will allow that I will be able to get down there and provide a tremendous amount of fruits and vegetables. And I can't imagine that I will not produce some amazing organic chicken and possibly some lamb or some boar goat meat. And absolutely, do I think World War III will happen? Well, World War III already started a long time ago. So World War, bullets and ordinances are not how wars are started. So you need to go back and look at how all your wars are started. So bombs are not how it's ordinances. You know what an ordinance is? Like on top of your head. But they're started with tariffs and embargoes and sanctions. Absolutely, David, back down there. And somebody's been paying attention, that agreement, that getting popped both sides over there in Ukraine. And it obviously was before. They've been doing a war on for your body and your mind, literally publicly schooling your children, is indoctrinating them in this, whatever, we all go through, many of us go through this programming. And so, there's been a silent war going on for, through your food. You've been eating the program. All of us have it in us. Unless you inspect every bit of your food, they've had this, war going on. You know what a halogen is? You know what chloride is? Chlorine whitens your whites, brightens your whites. Potassium. That's the 3rd shot they give you on death row to stop your heart. So, but yeah, World War means how long has how many nations been involved over there in 2000? Obviously, Ukraine and look how nobody wants to talk about that, and look how many nations we have. 1,000 military bases in all 180 countries. So we've been at war since our inception. So World War III already started quite some time ago. What you need to be paying attention is to this 9/23 next false flag final rapture fake, if you will, event. There's no such thing as a rapture. You're not getting out of here early. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. I'm telling you, these people are just, they love to make up words. But go stand on the X in Rapture, Indiana. Boy, those people must have been very disappointed on April 8th of 2024, huh? Not to get raptured, huh? So, but the government's been doing this for quite some time, putting up stores, and the general population now is going to tell you you're nuts if you put up, nuts for the winter, like a chipmunk, So don't fly south for the winter. Don't worry about it. You'll be all right. Stay here, stay in the cold. Don't worry. Don't have no instincts. So, but a lot of this stuff has been going on, for quite some time. But truly, we have entered into this ritual, if you, which I'm telling you is not being spoken about on any other platform. I haven't seen any other ministry or any other blogger either. I don't care if it's Twitter, Rumble, whatever it is. So I've been talking about this 7th king being revealed as the 8th king, and then this 1945 ritual of this eventually will lead to the 923 executive orders on 9/23 of 2017. The dragon was there to consume the child. They already interned American citizens during World War II, and they're going to do it again because this is part of the ritual. So you be one of these people that goes into these bubble camps, bubble trouble? Probably. I don't think that 19 of you are prepared, and that's okay. Love you, but hey, if failing to prepare is preparing to fail. If you probably don't have any idea what I'm talking about, I don't think you're going to have any, you're going to get, you don't have one foot out of the system, you're going to go to the new system. That's the whole idea, getting one foot out of the system now. You don't like it, you can check out and become your own system. So, but most people are going to succumb to the new system. And I've been doing this far too long, too many decades to watch their 5D chess gameplay here on this rock to know that they are redoing this clipping to the penny. They did that during World War II. They took the copper and the nickel. I don't want to hear this stupid ass excuse about the penny too expensive to make. A silver nickel, a copper, because it was silver from 42 to 45, because they took the nickel, which is they use that to make stainless steel. It's a war metal, and they need it for the robotics in their future war machine. So they're doing this again. They already started by clipping the penny. They did that already during World War II. So they're doing the same ritual, because the seventh king was the one of World War II. That is the seventh king that is locked up in Revelation 9:11 in the pit, that it be revealed as the eighth king. Remember what I keep showing you, this wheel worship? Sure. You see what I'm saying, though, David? This war has been long in the tooth for a long time. We are the war machine. The war is with America now. We're the bad guy. People in America can't figure it out. They can't. All you have to do is go outside the confines of these walls, and we're the bad guy. But if you ain't never left this country, you're the good guy. You wouldn't know anything else about being outside of these borders. And no, it's us that have been dominating every nation by making them pay for oil with the US dollar, literally like mafia behavior, forcing them to pay for oil with the US dollar since 1973. So this has been going on for over 50 years. Remember, in 1945, put all your gold in the Fort Knox. Now they're doing it again. Didn't Mr. Warp Speed say that he was going to audit Fort Knox? I mean, hear anything else about it? It's a ritual. Pearl Harbor, they called it Ukraine's Pearl Harbor. Stinky Muskrat just said Pearl Harbor. So expect Nagasaki, Hiroshima to come next. And I told you they could do this with mushroom clouds, hydrogen and not atomic, and tell people to get the fuck out or get in your camp. You can't stay here. We're relocating. Executive Order 11004 allows the Federal Emergency Management Agency to relocate whole communities and put them into work camps. And they already did that during World War II. They already did that during World War II. Why wouldn't they do it again? If they already did it once, why would they? It started with tariffs, embargoes, and sanctions, Pearl Harbor, Nagasaki, Hiroshima. Are you that foolish? They're doing it again. They clipped the penny, right? World War II, Time Magazine's Man of the Year 2 years in a row. They put him in office. They sell bullets and Band-Aids. It's called Hegelian dialect, problem, reaction, solution. Pow. Get to come in as the hero with a pre-planned problem. The solution is because you reacted, huh? Yeah, there's always there's a reaction. There's a solution to the problem, isn't it? They've got it for you every time. They get to be the heroes. Didn't we just see that in the vidco? Didn't we see that with the whole ring around the rosy virus? The vidco 2.0, CV1A 9I. AI program, computer program. So, but anyways, Kill Bill Wide Gates program. So, Broadway Gates, kill Broadway. So, but let's go back to what we're saying here. This is something, again, this forcing everybody for 50 plus years to pay for the U.S., oil with U.S. dollars, been dominating every country. And we have forced every country. I don't care. Every stinking country on this rock has had to pay. So that's what Mark Twain said. History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. The economist Gerald Celente said history doesn't repeat itself, or repeats itself, but with a twist. So, forward, Hebrew, twist, right? Change. So, absolutely. I love history. Two quotes by two amazing people who understood history a little better than most people. Obviously, Mark Twain, huh? And then Gerald Celente. If you don't follow either of those two people, you might want to go look at the history of the Twain, not Shania. Get out of here. All right. And a man of mine. All right, sorry. I can't. Oh my gosh, I think I should end this live stream. We're starting to get a little silly here. All right, what time do we got? Oh, all right. Well, we'll end it here in about 10 or 15 minutes. We go a little bit longer here, so. Okay, I hope you're ready, though. This is obvious they're doing this 1945 ritual. So if they did this, let me show you how easy it would be able to relocate you out of the community you're in. Everybody's got a phone because everybody's a citizen journalist, right? Everybody's a narc is what they are. Women getting the snot kicked out of them, and a man is filming it on a phone. I can't stand that. But anyways, everybody's got a phone, right? If they, remember, Nagasaki, Hiroshima were atomic, right? That leaves that pancake effect of Mexican radiation, right? Nagasaki, Hiroshima, before that was Pearl Harbor. So look for this type of event, right? Obviously, they're already doing it. They've been doing this already for some time. They're going to keep repeating this. So that war, World War, started with tariffs, remember, or what you know as an embargo or a sanction. Warp speed, 45, 4 plus 5 is 9, 4 plus 7 is 11. President 9/11, he tariffed China, the first 4 plus 5 is 9, and washers went up over $200 almost dollars on some of those appliances. So there's already started this. So World War II was started with embargoes. That led to Pearl Harbor, which led to Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Now, if they can pull the same event, they will, and they can do this. During that time, they relocated American-born citizens. So don't think they won't do it again, because I'm not making a prediction. I'm telling you what they do, and now they're already doing it again. So you should expect to get in your little FEMA bubble, your millimeter bowl. I already showed you guys all the imagery. I'm not going to pull it out. I get in this, I'll keep going too long in the tooth. So they do it all by the number, David. They love their numerology. They love their gematria. They love their ciphers. They love their codes. They speak in, we speak in Mountain Dew on this channel. Remember, do me, baby? No. Bill, Biv DeVoe. Now you know. Yo, slick below. See, I told you, Starlink, stinky muskrat. Tesla, stolen technology. John Trump, millimeter wave, millimeter bowl. He was never talking about a wall you can see. That's like a ray. So, all right. They're work camps. They're your, 15-minute. We'll do it by the city, by the number. Remember, smart cities, 15-minute. So they already did this, and it was the Waltons that in turn American citizens. They were involved, the Waltons. So they're doing this. This is just who funded this No Kings protest, right? Was the Waltons. There you go. There you go. They're already doing it. I already told you they're already doing it. Yeah, they did. They took people off the streets. Their family members don't know where the hell they're at. Kind of like the people of, remember when Ping Xi came here, Chinatown? They disappeared all those people off the streets. Where are all those people? Overnight, gone. No, never one of them ever seen or heard from ever again. Nobody gives a I do. I'm never going to forget like Hurricane Helene. All those people still laying in the dirt today. And they knew where every one of those people were by satellite. Well, tell me they don't know. They've said they've got satellite. That's the ether too they put over your head. Stinky, Ronald Reagan with his Adams, Nancy Apple dude, whatever. Another one of these man, Shello Vomit, whatever. Yeah, remember he was an actor too. Yeah, just like Mr. Warp Speed. Remember, I often wonder if we had an outside influence. Remember that whole speech? Brazil? Oh man, I'd love to join you in Brazil, David. Stay in Brazil. That's a much better place than to be than American. Okay, I'm serious. And you have to defend with, because this will be a worldwide. There's not going to be any place that it's going to be that you won't be affected. But not being in America, which will be the Panama border to all the way up to the new, former Alaska, now Russian border. So they're going to do this. This is all part of this, whatever. People in America are the most lame, like a duck, just sit there and don't do a damn thing about it. If you're not from this country, I'm not saying that there's not good people in this country, because there's good people in all countries, but this country has displaced so many people in South America, and people couldn't tell the difference between somebody from Brazil, than somebody from Argentina, from somebody that was from, Salvadorian, or somebody who is Ecuadorian, or somebody who is Mexican. They don't know the difference. They don't care. They just say, oh, a bunch of dirty Mexicans. It's the mentality of the Americans. So, but if you're in Brazil, you're much more in a better place than I would trade places with you right now. If you want to switch places, I'll give you this farm, and I don't care where you're at. I'll come where you're at. This is the most unsafe nation to be. And I know there's a lot of things in South America. We, as this country, have caused a lot of displacing of these people who come to this country, forcing everybody's dollar by instilling central banks and inflating your currency and stealing all your resources, what we're good at doing. Co-opting, we put a central bank in, we inflate and extort your resources, and now your currency isn't worth crap, and ours is worth more. So now we got you paying with the US dollar for, yes, that's how it works. Good old American. We caused this displacement. Of course, I can't believe this is the hardest place to be, but this is where the dollar is the worst the most. We made it that way. We forced everybody to pay for the US dollar. We have had the reserve currency and been able to do this. Okay. So you're just not going to hear many Americans speak like this. I took an oath to what I thought was a constitutional republic. I'm trying to head to Ecuador because this nation is unsafe. It is not free. There's more debt, and this most debtor nation in 1973, we're the largest creditor nation. On this rock now, we're the largest indebtor nation. How the hell can we be free when everybody's in debt? This isn't a free country. They got heavily armed thugs. They're called state troopers, city thug, pig cops. They got deputy sheriffs, and they're all a bunch of pig thugs not enforcing the Constitution, operating in commerce. And I took an oath to the Constitution, not some commerce. And I, unbeknown to me. So I would rather leave America as soon as I can. Most BUs don't even know the petrodollar. Isn't that sad, though? Desert rat, that most people don't care. They don't know. They don't know we've been smashing people with the SWIFT system for, 1973? All right, overnight. Let's not talk about putting all the gold in the vaults in 1945. We're just going to overnight. Henry Kissinger's going to go over there and, broker take us off the Bretton Woods Agreement, linking us to the gold standard. And now we're going to guard with that greatest military, the Saudi nations, all the OPEC nations, and overnight they repriced all oil and the US dollar, known as the petrodollar. And we used our military to come fuck you up if you don't care what. Try Muammar Gaddafi. See what Saddam was saying. They never did find any weapons of mass destruction. Look at what Gaddafi was doing. I said earlier in the live stream. Freaking near Garden of Eden paradise. We went over there and just destroyed that place. Look what Hillary Clinton said about that. So I do not approve of us going and mafiaing people for 50 years so people can stand on an X and wear a face diaper. People now in America, in other countries, there are many countries in South America that have the military on the streets. We have all these thug pigs. I told you, our founding writers of the Constitution warned us of a standing army. There it is. And they got these corporation thugs, department of jackasses at the top, to the Federal Bureau of Imbeciles, a bunch of idiot corporations, but they're all armed and they'll kill you too. They come in plain clothes and they come to kill. They're thugs. They're not protecting and serving. Why would they not return this to a constitutional republic? That was changed back in the 1800s. So, do you think more guns would solve a lot of our problems? Oh, well, let's do it this way, Sam. Sam's going to go in and Sam's going to try to rob a bank. And I'm not saying Sam's a bank robber, but just hear me out. Sam's going to go in, he's going to try to rob a bank. Now, he's armed. He's got a .357, go popping off 11. It could put you in hell or it could place you up in heaven. Well, that's a little tone low, but anyways. All right. Sam walks into a bank. He's armed. He goes in there, and everybody standing in that line has got a sidearm. So does the teller. Every teller's going in there. So does the bank manager, and so does the loan officer. How successful, Sam, do you think you're going to be at robbing that bank? A heavily armed public is a polite public. Why do you think the highest criminal, most dangerous place to be in this world is in America, Chicago, Illinois? Disarmed. You take away people's guns and they're going to go run into places where they know they're not going to get shot and wreak havoc. You think a criminal cares about some stupid law? Cares about, that's like a criminal saying, in America, you hardened criminals, we're going to send you back home. You think these people have committed murder and rape, armed robbery, the type of, care about being sent back home to their nation state? Hardened criminals care about gun laws? Give a man a gun, he'll rob a bank. Give a man a bank, he'll rob the world. People don't even think a man with a suit on could commit a crime. They're called presidents, congressmen, senators, police officers, thugs, pigs, gang. When I was a law enforcement pig, I couldn't put my hands on a woman when I searched. I had to call in a backup officer, do a pat, a frisk, a search, of a female. I couldn't do that. The law enforcement was a lot different back then, whatever. I don't want to talk about my, whatever law enforcement pig career, but I rebuke these cops. I used to be one of these pig thugs, and if they protected the community and served as a public servant, community servant, then that might, have some, I don't have any respect for people who don't do their job. So, as we solve school shootings, crisis, have more officers around. I'm generally curious about the point. I've been trying to form an opinion. Well, Sam, have you ever looked into all these Sandy hoax? You ever looked into the actual, we got to be careful because this is one of those gray areas, Sandy hoax, where you look at the actual, how many people died in that town that month? All the building destruction, how about all these shooters? How come they're all on psychotropic drugs, all being watched? Is this a program? Are they being ultra MK? Or are they being led like patsies, like the first 9/11, attempt at blowing up the trade centers? You ever notice every time there's one of these mass school, pop, 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 this record sales of Second Amendment items? I think NHRA, my two witnesses, Smith and Wesson, my buddy Ruger out there in the car. Wait, I don't have any. That's not what I'm talking about. You ever notice the sales of those go up? Remember World War II? You can't invade America because there is an American behind every blade of grass with a Second Amendment item. Now that's what you better be thinking about, what they have to fend with. Mr. Warp Speed, Mr. Badman Orange, Red Flag Gun Law, Mr. Bump Stock, what part of shall not be infringed do you not understand? This will be the president to take the Second Amendment item from the American, as the dragon would be there to claim the child. Before it's done, you mark my words, I'm not a prophet. I don't make any predictions. They're going to do this by the book. Now, in World War II, that Japanese commander, they warned of a blade of grass. Every school shooting, do you know how many weapons have been sold since that day? How many people came to work and said, listen, boss, I'm getting my check now in cash. I'm not doing this Vidco 2.0 wearing a mask crap, right? Mr. Smith over here, make sure I'm going to get that paycheck in cash. I got 2 witnesses because Father says always declare 2, right? Like you had to have 2 and nail that bit. So, and hey, I got Mr. Ruger, as I said, out in the truck. So where I'm going to get that cash paycheck, no more of this face diaper crap. I don't care what anybody else says. We got a deal, right? I got my, see, ever notice that every time there's one of these mass, there's a massive increase in the Second Amendment item sales. I think they're all in bed together. The NHRA, all of these people, because they do this. There's all these events, and then the prices of sales go up through the roof. And they're all predicted, programmed, and pre-planned. I know I've watched every one of them. It's like, whatever. Springfield High School, don't go there, okay? Here in Oregon, where I'm at. I don't want to talk about it, okay? So, those are all pre-planned, and Sandy Hoax is my final answer. So, yeah, a lot of them, when you just look into it, it just doesn't add up. So I'm not saying that people out there that some of these aren't actual real events, but not everything is what you see, or not every one of them is what they're telling you. They can easily create an event. Yeah, it's follow the dollar is most of the time. There's some kind of motive in there, okay? And normally it's led by that good old love, the agape of the dollar. You got it, Sam. I mean, the problem with society today, too, brothers and sisters, that I've talked with many people now at length, so there's not many, but I make this a pretty good subject to let people know. You ever thought that we might both be right and that one of us are not wrong, and that because they thinking that one of us has to be wrong or right, that we could both be right, and that maybe there's more than one thing that's right in this situation, but they got you thinking left or right, so you won't talk to each other anymore because you're not left or you're not right. It's stupid, guys. They want and have done exactly what they have planned to do and set out. It's called divide and conquer. They did it in Rome, red and blue team. We did it as kids. It's not easy. It's not hard. So it's not hard to separate people. You start, chopping them up in L and R2D2 and G, 3PC, O, X, Y, Z, T, So, anyways, it's much easier to overcome people when they're separated and chopped up, or the reverse. Let me show you how we do this as military. Whatever, this works. It's efficient. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. America's here. Everything's safe. Go inside. Roger, send me great coordinates. Roger. Instead of everybody running around in 10 buildings, why don't you just have them all in one? Or everybody running outside. Yeah, that's how we do it. Shut up. You don't know nothing about how we can, whatever it takes, mission essential, get the job done, move out, draw fire, soldier. I don't hear your excuses. We'll talk about it in the rear. Your government property. You want Article 15? There you go. America, boys. Team America. Forcing every nation with 1,000 military bases in all 180 countries for over 50 years, enforcing like the mafia. You're going to pay for oil with the US dollar, or we will blow up your children's, your women's, your men's, all of it. Your countries, all your infrastructure, and we won't even send the engineers to rebuild it anymore. Look at Libya. Never did any weapons find those mass destruction weapons. Saddam Hussein was a trained CIA operative, just like Osama bin Laden, an oil tycoon who did deals with the Bushes. So it's pretty sad it's gone on for this long, but this is a corporation. And I'm American. So doesn't mean I still don't serve the Constitution. I can still serve the Constitution and the right of the people. I don't serve no stupid idiocracy flag. I'm not proud of pride is a sin. And this corporation is an apostate nation. And what we've done for the last 50 years is criminal. And no wonder these people have been terrifying us in ways, and they've just been trying to survive, breathe, just get a breath of air. Imagine being forced for over 50 plus years to pay for oil. And if you don't, you'll be threatened of a bomb. You talk about a whole different preparedness mindset. Imagine being a nation outside of this corporation under the threat of a military, Army, Air Force, Marine, Navy. I don't vote. The hell would I vote for? Did you vote for? Did you vote for Kamala Allah, Donald Trump, Akbar, Biden, Kennedy, Washington? They're all Masons related to the Queen. Kitty touch much? You vote for your own overlord enslavement? So, no, I wouldn't vote for Kamala Allah Akbar. No thanks. Two cheeks to the same hole. Isn't that hilarious, guys, how they just put her out on the, whatever, Commander in Chief if she took office, right? Right. But anyways, all of a sudden they just threw that lady out there, right? Kamala Akbar, right? Right? And everybody's like, oh, well, now she's the president. They're just like, people didn't say nothing, man. This nation is like, oh, put her in the purple suit. Everybody's like, uh-huh. She's running for president now. Joe's out of the picture. Stand down, Joe. What a bunch of idiots. I hate this nation so much. A bunch of apostate men allow their women to have to wear face diapers, stand on the necks. Oh, wait, you wore face diapers. Weak ass. Now they're going to draft our women, send them to war. So I don't want to hear a peep out of you there, men. American, shut up. Use your right to remain silent. Anything you say, you can kick that can down the road because it's irrelevant. It used to be in law enforcement. That's your right to remain silent, your Miranda rights. Yeah, American. So you can kick that can. It's irrelevant. Yeah, that right to remain silent. You didn't say anything, and they're already going to draft our women. So what do you got to say about that if you're an American man now? What do you got to say for yourself? You put them in a woman in a foxhole, what are you going to be thinking about? Her foxhole, huh? You don't draft women to war. You're an idiot. Miranda. I'm collecting money for Miranda. It's my right. Shh, don't tell anybody. Have some money in the jar. This sounds like Catholicism here. We're going to do some exercise, some calisthenics. Stand up, kneel, stand up, down, up, 1, 2, 3, your left. Miranda Landa. Landa. What do you think about the whole ICE diverting people during immigration? First stuff, Sam, I think it's an apostasy. Did you hear what I said, Sam? We have displaced most of these people in these nations from all other nations. 80% of the people since the Obama administration, Barry is his name, not Barack Obama, that's his uncle, were other than Mexican. It ain't Mexicans coming across the border. That's how ignorant Americans are. They just had this no kings, a bunch of people waving Mexican flags. That's how stupid they are. It's not Mexicans coming across the border. Other than 80%, other than Mexican. Although there were Mexicans coming, most of them come here and get a job the first day, pay taxes, get a car, get a house, they pay taxes, they go right to work. Oh, dirty Mexicans. They've been feeding these Americans for how long? And they're decades. Ungrateful Americans is what they are. A bunch of entitled Americans is what they are. A bunch of silent Americans is what they are. Allow their women to be drafted to war. Didn't hear a damn thing from any American. I blogged about it on TikTok, on this platform, told you it was in military time when they started talking about this and said you don't draft your women to war. You killed the whole Ukrainian generation over there and send their women into the meat grinder with the U.S. tax dollar paid for it. So you're a mass murderer. If you filled out a job, what do we have in there? That one guy came in here one day. Oh, I made $500,000. What? 19% or 18% taxes. That's $19,800 that you sent over there to kill Ukrainian women and children and men. And good job. You're a killer. So there we go. Oh, all these other people coming in. Oh, let's not talk about the old ones coming in without strollers and fighting age 18 to 30 now, kind of like the 18 to 30. The average fighting age in Ukraine now is 43, by the way, because they sent all their women into the meat grinder. So you don't put women into the meat grinder and you don't draft your women. It's too late. They're already drafting women in America. It's already on the books. It's too late. You didn't say anything. I said you're weak-ass American men. I don't care what you say to me. You're not going to say anything to me that I feel your words ain't going to do anything to me. I did speak up. I made this very well known. You don't put a woman in a foxhole because all I'm going to be thinking about is their foxhole. I'm a veteran. I don't think about a man's, Now, I was in the military when it was don't ask, don't tell, but I ain't going there. All right, anyways, back to the dig your own hole here. You put me in the man with a hole, I'm not going to care about, the shape of his eyes or how melanated his skin. I only do one race, the human race. So I'm colorblind. I don't see color. I was born in the concrete jungle. I grew up as the minority. You're not going to tell me that. Father didn't give man melanin or woman in her skin or shape his or her eyes because of how close he put us to the border, the equator, the equatorial region. Anything else, you're a racist, pig, scum, and get out of here. I rebuke you. Never come back here ever again. But I tell you what, you put a woman in that foxhole, I don't color either. And all I can think about is that foxhole. Maybe that's why they didn't last very long over there in Ukraine, right? So, we got an idiot, one of these. Can you, Rick, tell the room what MAGA stands for? Don't ban Rick yet. He made his big ditty bed, so he's got to come in here and, you know what I'm saying? So what does MAGA stand for? Nanu Shazbot. Tell everybody what MAGA stands for. Not like a flying, like a fly, a flying maggot, Well, a maggot is what's a fly? A fly is a maggot. It's a maggot with wings. Well, it's like a butterfly, huh? So come on there. You want a MAGA, everybody in here. So Rick, you made your bed, now sleep in it. Tell everybody in the room what MAGA stands for. What is MAGA? MAGA. What does that mean? You're coming in like waving a flag. Burn the flag. So I don't want to see your flag. I want to see, let the smoke clear now that we're burned the flag. Are you still here, Rick? Hello? Okay, so that's your answer to MAGA is the flag? Well, I'm a veteran and I didn't serve a flag and I don't take a note to a stupid flag. Took a note to the Constitution. Answer my question, are you going to be made to leave here? We don't sup with vipers or cast our pearls before swine. So tell the people what MAGA stands for. If you can't follow directions, you're just a brute beast. You're brutish in nature. You cannot be learned. You have an unwillingness to learn. You're stubborn and acting like an ass in here. So don't act like an ass. I thought you were an elephant. You're acting like a donkey. And I don't do sides. Hold on there, money for nothing and your chicks for free. We'll answer that question. We're trying to get, well, we burn the flag, says we don't take an oath to the flag. So define what MAGA is and teach the class their, or you got to go. What is MAGA? Do you have any idea what it is? You threw it out here. You made your bed. Must have been a big old ditty party bed, bath oil party. Were you invited? Who do you think paid for the bed? Who do you think paid for the oil? Make America go away. What is false teaching, Zerline? What am I teaching? False teaching. You want to teach something in here? Teach something. What am I teaching falsely? Rebuke me with a word. Yeah, remember what they did during the people to the COVID? They kicked them out. MAGA is a false teaching. Okay, but what is MAGA though? Lion, what is MAGA? I guess he can't answer. Will you answer what MAGA is for somebody? Can you answer for me, Lion? Remember what that symbol is? What is MAGA? What is MAGA? What is MAGA? No, I don't pick parties. I don't do sides. Because a lot of these people put that up. These people who do this warp speed, the Democrat or Republican donkey. All if I don't do none of that. I don't do this two-party. Um, they're pinning you against each other. You're an idiot. These people don't care about you. So if you think a politician's going to save you, you're agent governing Moscow, agent governing America. Oh, I like that, James. That's a good one. Hey, Ivanka's in charge, huh? Oh, it's Ivan the Terrible. Oh, it's another one of these Hillary's in charge while Bill's out stuffing cigars in Monica. Anyways, I didn't have sexual relations with that woman. All right. That's not a very good Bill Clinton, was it? All right. Thanks for those 31 likes. I thought we were going to get off here. All right. There's a few of you guys hanging out. We'll keep going there. MAGA is the high priest of the Satan church, brothers and sisters. That is that symbol. That is the symbol they make. MAGA stands for, that is the high priest, the sign of the high priest of the Satanist church, which is do as thou will. So that's how ignorant your two-party system is. They have this so that they can, just long enough where the people keep the hopium alive. Remember, first it was hope, and then change, and then, so, no, look at this two-party system they got. You guys, I've been in America since I was born. Obviously, I was birthed in this apostate nation, but, I joined the military as a child at 17 years old. I didn't have it, obviously didn't know exactly what I was doing, but thought the decision I was making was the best decision for my family and my right and my First Amendment. But anyways, make a long story short, I did what I did. It is what it is. If I knew what I did back then, what I was doing was what I would have never done that. But, again, I was 17. I was literally a minor child. Now, I was very mature for my age. I was 17 and scored high enough to pick my own job in the military, which is something you normally don't do. They normally kind of sway you, but I also left with shaved my head and went there with no hair, and actually already had been promoted before I even left. Received a promotion, showed up with rank on my collar and a haircut, tie and tight, ready to go, squared away. Still paid for an on the floor and out the door haircut that didn't even need. But anyways, I knew what I was doing before I joined the military. So, but again, I spoke earlier about volunteer military. This is a volunteer military. If we get involved in any other operations, they're going to take us to war. These politicians don't go like George Washington and fight on the front. They fight from their ivory towers. Okay. And soon they'll be guarded by robots, and that they're going to release all this tech very soon. They're not too much, they're not releasing Apple phone, iPhone 5, 6, 7, 8. They're not doing this yearly anymore. They're not hiding behind the veil. They're releasing this stuff 50, 100, and some of this thousands of years old technology will be released right in front of your very eyes. A lot of it's very old technology. Sound wave frequency technology has been used for millennia. Okay, thousands. There is no thousand and there is no zero, but we'll go ahead for conversation's sake, use it. Okay, this old technology, there are megalithic structures that could be built if they were not hiding the technology for us. Oh yeah, making sure we don't go to the sky, huh? Mr. Warp Speed, space farce. They have this technology and have had it for, well, remember John Trump, obviously it was the millimeter wave technology that he was messing with at Tesla when he said he could build that death ray, a ray over your city that no military could penetrate. It wasn't that he said he can grab energy out of the ether. He could transfer whole currents, and called out J.P. Chase Morgan and Henry Ford as a bunch of foolish, having all these power poles and copper poles that could just blow away. And he could, again, grab energy right out of the transfer power through the whole current technology. Like, having no grounding right and hooked up to a smart meter, so it goes burns your house from the inside out. Now that's not very smart to put a smart meter on your house, but hey, don't tell me. I only make my own power, so I don't do rolling brownouts or blackouts in my house. I am the power company. So don't forget why Mr. Warp Speed has this technology. He can use it to put you in work camps, millimeter walls, waves that you can't see. When he was talking about building walls, he was talking about, remember, he said, China, the Great Wall. No, he said Mexico was going to build a wall. And you sneaky you pesky Americanos from coming down there trying to steal the silver. Too late. We already have the military down there fighting the cartels. Too late. To the Panama border. Hey, save silver, save lives. The purest silver on this rock comes from where? Oh, Taco Tuesday, baby. Love my Hispanic culture. Some Masada tacos. It was $13.50 at the taco truck here in Bend, Oregon. Man, I bet you I go down there and get tacos for a quarter. Hey, that's a $6 taco. That's too expensive. How many tacos do you think I could get for a silver dime? Maybe it's Taco Tuesday. Make everyday tacos Tuesday. There's a Rosie dime, not a Mercury. Silver dime. Oh, you hear the sound of that? Let's listen to some silver. All right, if you're not subscribed to the channel, this would be your chance to do so now. If you want to make a tithe to the ministry, there's a Cash App, a PayPal. I give out some pretty valuable information. You don't have to give me anything. Don't worry about it. I got everything I need. All I need to do is die. I'm excited. I think about it all the time. I don't really die. I'm eternal. You're an idiot. I know what Mexican is death in Scripture, but how do I die if I'm eternal? It's just a doorway, like a clock of time that doesn't never end. So how would I die? You go ahead and be worried about dying. My day of death's already written, so. Do me, baby. Take silver to do me, baby. Do me, baby, Mr. Stinky Starlink Muskrat. Oh. All right, so. American. That's the only way. If every flag in this nation should be flown right here, or you're not flying it properly. Are you telling me this nation's not in distress? Everything's awesome, Team America. America. Daniel, would you stop it? Dog's over there trying to get something out of his foot. The Apostate Nation Corporation, America. They won't even speak up. Have a bunch of guys wearing face diapers. Hey, at least, over Sharia law over there in the desert, Storm, Shield, Operation Iraqi Freedom, right? Kuwait. Only the women cover their faces. Look at that, 33. Christ was 33 when he was passed, 33-degree Mason. Up 37. My dad was 37 when he passed. Oh, look at all these doing by the number. All right, but anyways, this Americant right here, remember how many years have we been forcing people to pay? Saudi nations, 1973, with the U.S. dollar. Americant. It's not oil, brothers and sisters, that fuels the lifeblood of the military-industrial complex. It's this metal right here, right in front of your face. Why do you think silver's so cheap right now? If they made this actually the price that it should be, boy, it would be a whole lot more expensive to fund their wars, wouldn't it? Every circuit, every switch, Blackhawk, Apache, C-130. I'm some of this older stuff. They got new platforms. All these. How many pounds of silver do you think are in a military aircraft destroyer like the Ronald Reagan? How many pounds of silver do you think are in one of those Black Hawk helicopters, Apache helicopter? Remember all the switches and all the, so. Makes sense why silver is the price it is? This is the lifeblood of the military industrial complex. Oil, remember Henry Ford? Automobiles? That's what got that old man whacked, okay? It's that millimeter wave wall that he said he could build as a death ray that John Trump was messing with. So his family has it, and I now understand why. Father showed me this about 3 or 4 months ago, I think it was, that if they didn't have the technology, we would have probably already have, tried to get out of here, and you're not getting out of here. And so they're going to use this technology to try to great and dreadful day of the Lord to somehow, we'll see, whatever they think they're going to do it. They're not going to win. I can tell you that. It says in that book that Father is the one who redeems his bride. And the dead will be raised from the ashes and the dust. So there's no escaping the judgments. It's not going to happen. These people are clinging to life. Look at what they're trying to do. Life extension. Upload your conscious like Jiminy Cricket to the Starlink web cloud, whatever. They're afraid to die, brothers and sisters. They're afraid to die. Because after we leave this flesh, you don't get flesh. That's not where Father does not exist in flesh. And Shiloh said he would redeem and come back the bride to where his Father's house was at. It was a house of many rooms. And he doesn't dwell in temples made by hands. He's inside of us now. Father dwells within inside of us. Your body's a temple. He used to visit 1 day a year, and that temple was destroyed. So where do you think he dwells now? Inside of us. So when he comes back and he redeems you and you have your new body, new to you body, new heaven, new earth, that's a new ruling class and a new rule. But that new body will be new to you because you're so used to clinging to this flesh. That's why he's been telling you the whole time in his word, come out of her, my people. Be in it, but be not of it. Stay in the word, not of the world. The world is this flesh that causes us to sin. I'm going to go to where my Father's house is at. I'm going to leave this place. And I'm going to go to where my Father's house is at. I'm going to prepare a place. It's a house of many rooms. I'm going to come back. I'm going to receive. I'm going to redeem my bride. I've already paid for him. Where do you think that's at? It's inside you. And Father doesn't have flesh. So if he's going to take to his Father's house, then you're not going to have flesh. I hope you get that before I shut this ministry down here tonight. That is what you should be preparing for, to be with your brothers and your sister and your mother. Your Father, in the Lord's Prayer, it says, our Father who art in heaven. So it's not in the sky. Father's never been in the sky. So I hope you're ready when you come back for that new body to be without flesh. It says, when I return, no one will know my Shem, no one will know my Agape, no one will know my authority, no one will know my name. I will make a new name, authority, Agape, right? Law. So we obviously screwed this one up. People didn't get it. Many are called, but oligos are chosen, brothers and sisters. That's what the scripture says. So not up for me to turn a goat into a sheep in here. It's not even possible. It was already chosen from the foundation of the world. But I guarantee you need to sup with this word. If you want to discover what's going to happen after you die, so many people are afraid to die. What are you afraid of? If you're an eternal spirit, how do you die? To flesh, you're supposed to die to flesh daily, not literal take your life, be born from above, not again. See, you're not reading the word. He was from above. He was from above without flesh is what that means. Heavens, the ruling class. Who rules over you? Is it you that's steering this ship, this vessel, or is it he that's steering the ship inside you? See, he knows what you're doing. You don't need to be some Starlink satellite. He knows where you are thinking. You can't cheat him. If you try to stack the deck, cheat, lie, steal, he knows what you're thinking. Kind of sounds like Satan claws, huh? Yeah, I'd love to mock him, don't they? He knows if you've been naughty or nice, and that's not Santa, you idiots. He's inside you. Idiot's not an insult. It just means you don't know. Now you do. Don't be brutish. If you don't want to learn, you're stubborn. I can't teach you. You'd be an ass. Christ called you a brute beast if he was here. So I'm not saying that. Here's what I'm telling you. Remember, Father, no flesh, no breast. Christ, no breast. Not a 3-in-1 God. That's Catholicism. when you come back to your new body that it says in Revelation, it's going to be new to you because you're not used to being without this flesh. You've lived with it this long. You think this is the first time you came into flesh? Okay, that's all right. This is your first go around. Obviously, you're young in spirit, and this ain't some quantum leap movie. Is if you're going to get a new body then, and you don't believe in reincarnation, you're going to get a new physical body. Then how the hell does that work? Well, if you did get a new body and was actual a physical body, then how is there not reincarnation? So all these people who, I don't believe in reincarnation, well, you can't believe in anything. That's not a thought in your head, but the word believe is an action word. Like girded in my service, he said, Maranatha until I return. So either way, I hope you're preparing your vessel, because he did. He told us very clearly to do not partake in unfruitful works of darkness. That's this flesh. Rebuke them with light. That is him with the word. In the beginning was the word. So I hope that when you leave this flesh vessel, okay, man, my chest sucks. So what a bummer. Claim a tomahawk missile house. Is that what okay, I got some other resources that report a little bit more than that, but good stuff, David. Good stuff. Oh, Rick's still in here being an idiot. Why didn't I get Rick out of here? Rick's still in here mouthing off. Rick, say something again in front of everybody so we can show you by your fruit. Let's see. Once again, speak up, Rick. Look at Rick, the troll. Rick's trolling, so we'll troll the troll one time. We weren't going to do it, but we'll feed the troll tonight. So. Okay, I don't know about your. Interesting. Not where your sources are, but where are your sources from on those? How about a smart missile? Something that's going to leave its original, kind of like some of these things they're doing over the Iron Dome. I'm not on either side. They're both apostate nations. America funds and pays for both Iran and Israel. But I especially rebuke Israel, because they think they're some special nation that it calls out in the book of Revelation, and that's not the Israel that it speaks of in Revelation. So it says no foreign entanglements. Are the founding writer of the Constitution, remember, one of the first, writers, but he said, let vengeance be mine, saith the Lord. So they're not Israel that it speaks of in Revelation. That's bullshit. I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of this nation committing total genocide against all the Geneva Convention, war crimes beyond measure. I apologize for my, I'm tired of it. This is disgusting. I've already had no, I don't agree with that. So I don't know your sources, but that's not been 10 to 15 ounces is not even close to the number that's in a tomahawk or a cruise or a smart missile. So, nope. Thanks, connection. And you got. I'm saying I'm not, but those sources that's not a very good source, whatever you're using. So, I know what they tried to do. They tried to come out, and since this has been coming out with these other sources, I've been following this Military Times, and see, they're going to make this a strategic metal very soon. Okay. And they're going to nationalize it. And so I see what they're doing with it, but that's okay. Now think about this. How many ounces of silver are in a regular car? How many ounces of silver are in a smart car? A whole lot more than 10 or 15 ounces. So, that's a bad source that you got. That source is trying to cover up for obviously the tremendous amount of silver that's used in something as a smart you know, it goes from a survey. It speaks with the satellite. It has quite the, yeah. And to make it do that, there's a tremendous amount of silver, you know, up to a monster box amount of silver in some of these tips of some of these cruise vessels. Because this is what it takes for the circuitry for it to communicate from a starting point, speak to the satellite, and then reach its ending point. Do you know how many circuits or how much, you know, technology that's in one of these smart, remember, these things communicate, you know, like via Bluetooth, and there's a lot of other technology that I'm just going to give you some basic. I don't want to sit there and try to break down all this tech that's in these smart. They're smart. That's what I'm going to tell you. They're smart. So, okay, so cool. I know what you're talking about. Yep, another one of these covered. I tell you, there is a whole. Silver is probably the most definitely manipulated metal that's ever been in our time, in our modern times. It is the most widely, for 180 years, this metal has been suppressed. Okay. But I know what you're saying. You're speaking from this cover up source now that's trying to cover up how much actually industrial metal. It's not an industrial, actually. It's a strategic metal, and they don't want to talk about it. They will soon talk about it, but thanks, Stoner. But those connections, those sources are just, that's cover up. They're trying to cover up for something that there's a lot more sources. Because look how vague your sources. Well, come on. Like I said, go look at how much silver's in a car. You're going to totally debunk your article there. That is a article that's been put out. Several of these institutes been put out. Like there's, you know, like the GATA, the Gold, you know, Trade Alliance. That, you know, that people that are working on one side. There's people who are working on the other side. I know what they're doing, and I do appreciate you putting them in here. But I'm going to tell you, your sources are garbage. Because they're trying to cover up for the extensive amount of silver that's used for war. And it's been used in the military. It is the lifeblood of the military industrial complex. So it doesn't, it's here nor there. Whether it's 500 or 5,000, it's, I don't think Father ever intended us to kill each other with this metal. Okay. And like I said, if you just sourced how much metal is in a smart car, you're going to see that's a whole lot hell of more metal than you're talking about in your, there's a lot more metal in a strategic missile, smart missile, than there is in a little car. Okay. I'll leave it at that. So your sources are garbage. So appreciate you being in here though. Always a tremendous asset to this ministry. I appreciate your quoting, whatever, but like I said, look how vaguely it's written. So, they use more silver than they do. This is the most widely used metal on this rock. So they're not going to be able to keep the price of it down forever. I'd hate to get to wouldn't want to live in a world where, you know, yeah, no worries. I'm not, like I said, that's good because I've been following this for 30 years. I don't know how long you've been in the precious metal sector. American bastard, USA bastard. Uh-oh, somebody doesn't like the U.S. Let's show that. See, guys, are you not from the United Corporation of Americant? A bunch of slaves, debt slaves? Tell these people America's the bad guy. If you're not from America, speak up. They're not afraid of you anymore, America. Your dollar is not as dominant as it has been for, what, 50 plus 80 years. You've had the word reserve currency since 1945. That expires. After 80 years, it always does. This is that great turning, too, that we're in now. So tell these Americants in here that this nation corporation is an apostasy, and people aren't afraid of this nation as we once, you know, went and dominated people. That dollar, King dollar, is not dominating anymore. Although it still has value, people are finding out that in other countries that we're not this badass. We haven't won a war since World War II. We didn't win Vietnam. We pulled out of Afghanistan. That's the longest war we've ever been involved in. Okay, Storm Shield. We haven't won any wars. We're not winning any wars. We don't even have. The only reason why we dominate is because we have the largest navy, and now China has China's got the largest navy. So we're not dominating the ports and supply chains anymore. Okay, people don't want our dollar. People told Trump to fuck off with his tariffs. Many countries did. Well, they made some of this look like this a little different in the news. Most people told him to pound sand. Okay, you still have all the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South. Those are like 40% of the superpowers, financial, nuclear, Shanghai gold, real asset-backed class, not this paper dollar. So I'm okay with you telling these American people that they're weak and that they don't dominate this country. This doesn't dominate. Irregardless of how many military bases they have, they still have some, but they ain't going to have it forever. You only have a reserve currency for so long. Our time is up. So put a fork in her. She's done. So the best thing you can do is not lie to yourself if you're an American until you're, ask yourself, is this the country that I read about in school, and is this the country that I want my children to grow up in? So I would suggest that before history is erased itself, it normally does at the turning, that you don't go down as the silent majority. I'm not telling you to calling for any violence, but you do have a right to speak up. Silent majority means the most people will not speak up. World War II, they just watched them walk right into their smokestack death. The smoke will rise out of the pit. Here we go again, huh? So, all right. I'm not sure why it's not allowing me to somebody drop this guy. Armenez. If you don't like America, just leave. Okay, whatever, you idiot. You can't just leave this country. This is the only country where you come and live for nothing. You're an idiot. You don't know anything about other countries, so don't speak up about any other countries if you're an American. You're a weak-ass American is what you are. You allowed your American women to be drafted, okay, to war. So I don't hear anything out of you American men. You keep quiet in here. I'm speaking to people outside of this country. You already had your chance to speak up. You didn't say shit. Now they're going to draft our women. Good job there, America. What a weak generation. So you don't like it too? I don't care. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. So at least I'm speaking up. I took an oath to the Constitution, not some idiot Americans. Didn't take an oath to the flag or some apostate nation. I took an oath to the Constitution. You don't like it, pound sand. Let's go back in time. Kick rocks. Keep kicking those rocks until they turn those into gravel. Keep kicking those and pound those until they turn into sand. Don't build your house on sinking sand. Let's go back in time. He said, I am the rock. I am the Petra. So that's right. Easy times breed weak men. Hard times bring strong men. These people don't want to rock the boat. They wore a face diaper. We're the freest country in the whole wide world, and yet we're going to wear face diapers and let our women be drafted to war. Let posse comitatus. If you don't like it, here, just leave. Okay, is that what you're going to say finally there, Rick? You finally chose to speak up again? I didn't see you speak up. Pound sand there, Rick. Go to your bed party with Diddy. Who do you think paid for the baby oil? Mr. Warp Speed. Pound sand. Okay, bed. Big Diddy bed party. You're all done here, Rick and Morty. Good stuff. Somebody is no, you're a disappointment. You want to know why? You didn't serve this corporation, did you? Are you a military veteran? You have a DD-214? What was your skill identifier? What was your military skill identifier? My tour of service doesn't end when my DD-214 says ETS, they're a soldier. You ain't no soldier. You're nothing. Get out of here, Rick. Slick, Rick. Time to go. You're not welcome here. You must have been at that bed party. You're an island boy, I can tell. You know, you're an island boy. You said island boy. You've been to EpiPen Island boy. I know you oxidize epinephrine. What do you get? So, Arceus dumps $2. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. Every penny counts. So, hey, you get taxed, state, federal, gross, net. It's sick, isn't it? And then you drive home and get taxed on that. Don't call your old lady. You'll get taxed on that. Put gas in your car, get taxed on that. Put some trash out, get taxed on that. Pay a water bill, get taxed on that. What? Oh, America, boys, America. You know, I could go live in other countries like Venezuela, and this would pay for what was a bolivar, went from $5 burger up to 500 bolivar. This 1 ounce of silver would pay for a whole month's of groceries. There's no such thing as sovereign citizens. Where the hell do you guys get your idiocracy from? There's only one sovereign. As a law enforcement officer, you have what is called immunity. Sovereign, but that doesn't give you the ability to break the law. Okay? Sovereign is something that should never even been referred. There's only one. Sovereign means you're above the law. Okay? That's what sovereign means. And I'm not above the law. Hell no. Not above no law. There's only one sovereign, that's the creator and the writer. So, all right, get out of here, bed. Get out of here. I've asked you to leave nicely. I'll just ban you. And every time you come here, because you remind me of Donald Trump, who paid for the baby oil and the big bath party, I'll put you out of here every single time. So, get out of here. You've been to the baby bath party. I know. Oxidize epinephrine. Go take your chrome. Slob on somebody else's knob, buddy. Don't come back here again. Thanks for getting him out of here. He's an idiot. Been sitting in here for 30 or 40 minutes just sucking off hind tit. So either way, that's all right. Apologize. Just don't deal with people who are going to sit there and don't give a crap about their own nation. He's going to tell me something about Venezuela. So he don't know anything about Venezuela, okay? You might want to pay attention in that country again, because this ounce of silver would buy you a whole month's worth of groceries. You know, I've gone in, I looked with Kevin, you know, $2 and $3 meals in a lot of these countries. You know, I can go to Ecuador and I can get my teeth cleaned for like $20. You know, I got hit in the face with a grenade. Remember? I've been respiratory, 5 tear gas canisters. I have severe concussion. I haven't gone and gotten checked out. It's been over a year. Stroke. I haven't got to check. $50 in Ecuador. I can go get a full checkup, you know, from the neck up, head down. Everything. Respiratory. Go have them do. I don't like going to hospitals here, but I'm not going to go to a hospital until I actually leave this country. So, what did somebody say here? All while you slob. Okay. That didn't mean anything. Our leaders are more concerned about preparing themselves for tribulation, the wrath of God, channeling God's authority, strong illusion. Make them think they can beat God. Good stuff, man. Edic, I like a couple of your comments here. I don't think you're just stroking the channel. I do appreciate your taking the time. Absolutely. So, in Ecuador, you could buy a meal for nearly 1980 prices. The average person in Ecuador, the income is about $500 for the average. So if you can make 3 times as much, you can live like nearly a rich man, they say in Ecuador. So one dime will buy me a whole $16 carne asada plate. In America can't. Fuck America. This country sucks. There's good places here, but as a whole, it's garbage. Why, when I can go in another country, and when I can leave, I will. So if you think you can help me, why don't you call one of these places, find out why I can't leave. Where you open up your mouth and say something why I'm still here. Okay? but between $2 and $3 will buy you a meal. A meal. Like, you know, carne, arroz, frijoles, you know, some corn or flour tortillas, probably even a drink for a dime, a silver dime, which is about $3. There's a lot of other nations like this, brothers and sisters, too. And I'm not saying that people can't stay here, okay? But there are a lot of countries that you can go to, and you don't have to struggle. You know, it's like the average, again, you know, place that I can get over in Ecuador is about $200 to $300 a month for a really nice rental, you know, for the month. And it's nice, 2-3 bedroom, you know, apartment, home, casa, little house, you know. And I'm not talking about it in the city. I like the outskirts, so I don't want anything in the city. So, but if I go to the cities, most of my meals are going to cost me $2 to $3 a meal. 1980, 90 prices. And real food too. I was looking because I looked up like fast food in Ecuador just to see what the average person, we looked through a lot of different stuff there. And, you know, the meals just, they're not even anything like here. Even the fast food doesn't even look anything the same. It's so different. So, I'm not saying you can't stay here. If you want to stay here, go ahead. I don't want to be here. And as soon as God will unchain me, I'm leaving. So it's God who's doing this to me. And I know this has a lot to do with my own, obviously, being a constitutionalist and standing up for the right, you know, and being grenaded and swatted and all the things that have happened to me in this last, you know, 12, 13 months has been an absolute nightmare. But I'm still blessed to still be here. So as soon as I can, you know, deal with this, whatever Father's got going on in my life, I will leave this corporation, and I'm going to a constitutional republic, which is Ecuador. Ecuador is a constitutional republic. So I am looking at purchasing property down there as soon as I possibly can. And if I never go there, I'll still purchase property anyways. So that's why I have tried to take again and create an abundance here, but have struggled for quite some time. And I know that where I struggle here, because this land is not nearly as conducive to grow the, you know, in the climate that I'm in, although I can grow this geothermal garden and I'm well on my way to making that happen. I work on it daily. I can go to Ecuador on this property that I've already been looking at, when I should have bought it when it was $19,000. Now it's $38,000. Now I have a property up for sale for $38,000 right now. So if that property sells, I'm just going to put it, that's 5 acres, that's 2 hectares, that's about 5 acres. So it's not that the people here, there's not good people in this country, but this country sucks. Okay? This country's garbage. You got people like Potato that just stuck like the, you know, pulling off body parts and putting them on other body parts, and that's okay, and I'm not okay with that. So take a Cyber Potato and Mr. Potato Head and stick your body parts. Raggedy Ann wants Jill's, you know, his Jack's button, or Jill and or Andy. Go take your body parts and trade them, Mr. Buzz Lightyear. Go somewhere else. Into infinity and beyond. He's playing like some movie or something. He's playing Mr. Potato Head in the movie. So maybe he's from Idaho. Maybe, I don't know. So people say that. Are you broadcasting off a potato? Maybe that's what he was mentioning of. So either way, I can go to many other countries. I encourage you. Again, I'm not selling this ministry. This property was given over to the ministry so it can provide, no matter what happens to me, it will still continue to provide. So I still have the 5 acre parcel up for sale. If we can get that one sold, we'll go ahead and purchase the land in Ecuador. And we'll start being able to ship food to your door as tithes, because there are literally 20 different kinds of fruit trees growing organically. That farm has never had anything that has not organically been farmed from the farm itself. So all the fertilizers are naturally organically farmed. So 20 different kind of fruit trees. That's not including the vegetable gardens. I mean, it's 4 hours away from the largest city. Yeah, I don't have any problems actually assimilating wherever I'm at. So I was born in the concrete jungle, born as a minority. So I've been to all 50 states. I've traveled outside this, corporation. I've lived in Hawaii. I've lived up in Alaska. I've had there's actually it's only about 1% of the population in Ecuador, but there is a tremendous, there are probably more expats going to Ecuador than there are any other place at this time, because of the Constitutional Republic, because of the reasonable cost, because of the good climate. There's just a lot of, I think there's 10 million or something like that expats living. I live in Hawaii now. Can I prepare or should I leave? I was born here. Oh, interesting. Well, I lived in Hawaii. I lived went to several parts from Kona over till, obviously Mali'i and Ocean View, and then worked my way over on the other side over, I don't know if you've ever, you tell me which part. Hilo is the wet side, obviously. There's the back side. The real island to me, and I don't want to take away from whatever island, because I live next to the Kobayashis, but if you want to really experience an island where somebody just made a thing about assimilation, you need to go to the island of Hawaii, the main island, the big island, because they're not too much about haoles. Now, they don't mind tourism, but you don't understand what it's like to live aloha until you live it. It's not something you just say, it's a lifestyle. So where Landon do you live, on what island? Oahu. Okay, I'm trying to turn it into Vegas. See, there we go. It's crazy what they're doing on a lot of these islands, because many of the islanders are Micronesian, Polynesian, not just Hawaiian, from the islands. Many of these our country has shipped a lot of people over there that we've had, but the culture sucks. Thank you, Ashley, for that. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to go to France. I don't like the European nations now. It's changed so much over there. It's tough. Not that there's not good lifestyles over there too. There's good pockets everywhere you go too, guys. So doesn't mean you couldn't have to leave the Americas or at least in North America. I just try to leave for a better growing climate, and I've served the country, and I truly like to, get out and move around and see all, I just want to share the gospel is all I really want to do. So, Landon, the problem, because if you were born on Oahu, you know that everything is shipped in on that island. If you're truly, I'm not sure if you're Micronesian or Polynesian, if you're truly, if you look like an islander, okay, there are many people that come from all over the islands and many different islands to be on the many different islands of the Hawaiian Islands. So, but it doesn't matter. It's here nor there. But again, it has a lot to do with how you get treated. On the islands, they treat people with lighter skin that would call you a hale. And a hale is somebody who's just there and doesn't understand how to treat the land, doesn't understand how to live aloha. You don't have a clock. And like most people don't understand, many islanders are given what is called a spaghetti lot, or it's like a very long strip of the island, or a lasagna lot, which is 2 spaghetti lots. And they're given that to part of but like I said, I knew the Kobayashis, I know many of them. And so they're not, because they own their land and they don't necessarily have a land payment, they're not strapped to a clock like, hey, I got to make this payment. And they necessarily don't have to work a full 8-hour day. Not that they won't, but it's just not for people who live on the island, who were born and were, given a plot of land in their name, and that's their place, and they can build their own, whatever they're going to build. Most people live off the grid, don't have, it's open cell construction. It's not like most people think. Many people use solar and, just not used to the lifestyle of living over on the island. So looking at a clock and working in there, and it's just not the lifestyle. It's kind of rude to actually, be talking to somebody and be pressed for time. They don't live like that. Or again, and I've been on Honolulu. I've been more than one island, obviously. So I know it's a little bit different on each of the islands, but the island lifestyle is very similar from, at least through the Hawaiian Islands, and they all have very different culture, but there is this similar living aloha is a lifestyle. And so if you were born native to the island, and I'm getting a little long in the teeth there, but I hope you're long in the tooth there, Landon, but I'm hoping you'll understand. We can teach a little bit about this island lifestyle, because many people don't know what it means to live aloha, okay, or what it means, what aloha even means, because it's a lifestyle to live it. And part of it is you need to let go of this mainland attitude that you have. But you would know that if you were from the mainland. See, people in Hawaii, they don't consider the islands really to be much of America, because it's so far out, in right in the Pacific Ocean, that everything has to be brought in there, and it's a little microclimate in its own self. And so therefore they call that the mainland. And many people in the islands have never been to the mainland, and so they don't think of America as being an American. Again, many of them are Micronesians and Polynesians, come from other islands too as well throughout the years. This is what we've done with a lot of the issues that we've had. We send people to the islands, okay? So again, I'm only asking Landon this because he has a mentality. I'm not sure if he's ever been off the island. I don't know if he even knows what it's like if he's ever been in the mainland. Being an islander is a whole different lifestyle. Being over out there in the middle of the Pacific is not like living on the mainland. When you live in Alaska, they call this the lower 48. Very different. A lot of space between, a lot of tundra, a lot of, the Alcan's a long damn highway to get up there. So, I'm not sure, Len. I want to answer this question, but for a long term, I think that's a horrible place. I think the islands are not the place I would ever want to try to ride out the storm. There we go. So you know what I'm talking about, Landon, about most people don't know. Okay. Like what it's like to be one of the locals that have been given a plot of land, and they don't need to work an 8-hour day. They work about 3 or 4 hours, and they go down and they surf the rest of the day. We used to go down to Hokana or whatever, lots of, beautiful black sands and beautiful places to go out there and spend time out in the water, and let the spinner dolphins protect you from the sharks out there. But anyways, living aloha is a lifestyle, and generally what it involves is leaving this whole mainland attitude behind. And you have to live off the land. You don't take anything for the land gives back. Aloha is a lifestyle. If you give to the land gives back to you. But you got to be able to let go and understand that you don't put yourself on this time clock and you hurry people. They're much more relaxed, on the islands. And it's not just, on the mainland. It's very rude to walk past somebody on the street and not address them and say hi to them. Aloha, what's happening? Brother, how you doing today? Oh, we're just going out, go down to the beach, and we're going to have a party, we're going to have a whatever. It's disrespectful to walk past somebody on the island and not address them. So there's a different feeling on the islands, okay? And then there's a different feeling too if you're not from the islands and you don't know. It's not hard to tell. It's like the dialect that you speak in one town to the next, or one city or one state is different. People don't speak like from Tennessee that people speak like they're from Iowa. People from Maine don't speak like they're from Texas. So people on the islands have a little bit different culture too, but they all understand the aloha, and they all understand that island lifestyle. That is, I'm not saying people don't go and have normal, what you would consider a 9-to-5 lifestyle, but many of them don't have to live that lifestyle. And that's aloha, baby. when you get to enjoy your life and you're not overcome by bills and the world the island provides. It's a beautiful lifestyle, and if you've never lived aloha, you don't know what it's like to live, man. Living aloha is, like he said, it's to the soul, it's to the quick, it's all the way to your marrow, and you just respond in that way. Like, accepted form of transportation on the islands. Sticking the old thumb out. You know, that's an accepted form of transportation. A lot of people don't have cars, so hey, help a brother out, you know. Nice. That's a good thing. But it's a lifestyle, guys. And again, I didn't understand it at first when I got over there, but it didn't take me long to assimilate. And to start to, the storm comes and everything collapses. We depend on the slide chains and we're extremely vulnerable to war. After work, and I'm not sure if I'll make enough to ready myself. My family owns no land. See, there you go. That's where it's really difficult. See, that's where you're in a really tough spot, Landon, because you know, you're out there on an island. You understand if it breaks down, nothing comes into that island. You're going to have to be dependent on what is grown in, you know, Oahu or wherever these local little small villages that where you're at. And I know that there's, you know, there is a lot more fruit and, you know, avocados that are not this, you know, little Haas, you know, there's food there that's available. And I remember being on the Big Island where every park I went to, there was a cooler somewhere on that park with an ice pack and food in it. You would not starve, but you got a family and stuff. You need regulars to, you know, this is somebody's a little more floating, you know, and has a little more. And I had my son with me, but, you know, and I was a dad when I was there, but definitely the island does take care of, but when you need stability, it's tough there. The cost of living is so expensive on the islands. I don't know how, there we go. So thank you again, Muscle King. This happens and then you're so reliant on it. So that actually in a survival situation, you know, long-term, probably not the better. It has its benefits. I mean, you're already isolated. You're already self-dependent. Many people already live off the grid. Many people already live, you know, and don't have that, you know, entitlement, you know, type attitude and can survive with less. But man, it's so expensive to live on the islands. You could go to another place like Ecuador, maybe even the Philippines, you know, would be a lot better than being in Hawaii. And like I said, I love the islands. I love the island lifestyle. I love being there. It was a beautiful experience to go take my son and live aloha and truly get to live something that very people ever get a chance to experience. And because somebody brought it and learn to assimilate into, because they don't like people who won't assimilate. That they'll use you as a tourism, but if you want to become kind of local, it's like kind of moving into a hick town. It takes years, sometimes 2 or 3 years to become, you know, accepted, and then 5 or 6 years to become what is considered local. So I remember being on the island, and I remember I got invited to the original fishing village where there was a black sand beach and just whatever the island provided. And I got to go on the other side of this wall. Mili'i is near Hollywood. Okay. They call it Hollywood. It's Mili'i. It's the oldest fishing village on the main island, the Big Island. Okay. And I was told, when you go back to that black sand beach, do not go on that other side of that wall. You are not welcome on the other side of the wall. You need to get accepted. Just don't look at people over there. It's fine. Nobody's going to bother you, but you need to walk along the edge. The water washes all the way up to the wall. Wade through the water. Don't walk on the wall. Okay? Don't walk on the wall. Cloak for the purpose of defending against Go, man. Oh, we're going to go hide in the puka. Uh-oh. Landon's hiding in the puka. A puka is a hole in the a'a. The a'a is obviously that your lava flows. But again, guys, this island lifestyle, again, when I talk about something like being over there on the islands and being somewhere even like maybe the Philippines, that's both, but there's such a different lifestyle. And again, I know when I lived there, I got to live that aloha lifestyle, and it's not so many people that very often get to live that type of lifestyle. But everything that is brought into those islands or grown there is pretty dependent. It's almost like living in Alaska, where everything is shipped up there. And so, not that these islands don't produce their own sources, but it's so expensive to live in the inner cities unless you have a way to live out of the cities. It's not very cost efficient for a family. Look at any one of these main cities, like over on the Big Island, like Kona or Hilo or maybe Ocean View. Look at the price of some of these places. It's quite expensive, and the wages don't keep up with the you know what I'm saying, with the just the local. I mean, it just, it's not an easy lifestyle. So I know if I was in Hawaii and I was looking, I'd have to consider, is this the right place to be? Well, I love living on the island, and I love the people, and I love the culture, and I love just, things that I would never experience on some of even the other islands. It's just really hard to live unless you got a really good, strong, solid job. Maybe fishing, and that could change. Building, they're going to continue to build on the islands, but things get, I'll tell you what, when I worked there on the island, they actually didn't like people who worked an 8-hour day. So you got to learn to assimilate, like I said, and that's how I learned to start living aloha. So once I moved over there from Ocean View to Mili'i and went over there, was living in Hollywood, I was told not to go over on this other side of the wall. There's beautiful beaches there, and I was going to this black sand beach, and they told me to don't go over there. That not that when nobody would bother me, but if I went over there, that I could have issues. And then again, I had a little incident on the island, and the island takes care of itself. And somebody had found out about that, and I got invited to the other side of inside the fishing village. And I remember I was so blown away because I was there for some time. And then I had like an incident with somebody there on the island, and I was in the right, and the island took care of it. And they said, we want you to come over here. You did the right thing, and we want you to come over, and we're going to have, we're going to have a party. Bring your kikis, bring the kid, bring your son, and come hang out. We want to have a, we're going to have a luau. We're going to have a party. We're going to cook some lau, and we want you to come over and hang. I was like, whoa, I was so blown away. And actually, I remember taking that lau. This is one of the last times I ate pork. Nice. Wow. This is especially puts into perspective when you realize how dense the population is compared to the farmland substitute. Sounds working in the Kobayashi construction site right now. That's crazy. I used to live next to Nina Kobayashi. I used to live right next to the Kobayashis in LA. They form an agreement invitation to that side. Nice. So, as I was saying though, again, over there on the island, that's pretty cool. I used to live right next to those people, like I said, and they had their own. The Kobayashis are really big over there. But again, construction over there is a job. There you go. Andrew must know. So anyways, sometimes, again, working an 8-hour day might not make you blend in, with the locals. You kind of stand out. So eventually, guys, I was invited to go, and I brought my son because I remember watching him on the other side of that wall, playing out there in that pool. And then he was out there because the local kids had gone over the wall with him and were playing out there. And there was literally like a shark swimming around in there with them. And I had never seen a shark when my son come in there with, and always those spinner dolphins. But those little boys were able to, they call them kikis, or little, they call you uncle or auntie over there on the islands. We're out there, and that shark came in, and they were there, and they just swimming around with that shark, and didn't even bother them. And I'm like, whoa, this is weird. It's like the energy is so, they're natives. So, but anyways, I'm over there, and this is actually one of the last times I ate pork, but I got to eat lao lao. If you don't know what lao lao is, they put, pork and put it in the ground, and they put it in a like a banana, wrap it, and then they put this in the ground, and they cook this in raw. And so I actually remember telling some of the people, and they're like, man, I've been on the island for 10 years, man. You had lao lao out of the ground? You went on the other side of that fishing village wall in Middle E? I'm like, yeah. They're like, nobody gets invited over there, man. That's crazy. I was like, it is what it is. A little bit of an incident, and the island, it did what it was supposed to. So the island's like that too, guys. I'm not superstitious. I don't do no silly nonsense, ghost and big feet, none of that. I'm not into that. But there's an energy on the island. This is the only ever place I've been. I've been to all 50 states in this union. I have lived in Hawaii, okay? I've lived in Alaska. I have never felt the energy like I feel here anywhere else other than the big island in Hawaii. Unbelievable. The energy there is so, it's just different. It's very different, and I've never felt anywhere like it than I am where I am right now. It's much stronger where I'm at right now. This place that I'm at is very concentrated, and it's hard to get away from. Over there, it was in spots, and it's an old energy that's on the island. That's all I can tell you. There's old energy there that is, I'm an eternal being. So I really enjoyed my trips to the islands, and I had a lot of good experiences. And although sometimes things, people on the islands don't exactly always keep their word, or people tend to be opportunistic, but not as a whole, not as most. People want to help you. People want to be caring and live a more giving lifestyle. So I enjoy island lifestyle. I had a great time when I was on the islands. It was rough, but it's a good lifestyle. It really makes, my son got eaten the crap by mosquitoes for, but then I'd take him down to the beach, and it'd clear him up. And, he turned from, he wasn't very light skinned. He's got olive skin like me. And he got dark brown, man. You could tell him from the local kids after about a week after being there. I'm sitting there, and I'm at Hocana Beach, and we're out there, and he's like, "Where's your kid at?" And I'm like, "He's out there." Damn, I can't tell him from the other kid. I told you it gets pretty dark pretty quick. He's like, "Man, that kid, which one is yours? That one? He's darker than the other one over there already. It gets pretty dark." So, good times, man. I love the island lifestyle, going down to the beach, lots of food, and lots of music, and maybe a little pokololo. I don't know if anybody knows what pokololo is. So you'd have to be in the island to know what pokololo is. So if you don't know what pokololo, so I think Landon might know what, or Logan. Was it Logan or Landon? I think it was Logan. My bad. I think Logan will know what, no, Landon, my apologies. Landon would know what Pokololo is. So, no, I mean, imagine that, hanging out with the locals, sharing good lao lao, good food, good music, maybe a little Pokololo, but just, hanging out and enjoying, watching the kids, the kikis down there at the beach with the other kids, and enjoying themselves, body slamming each other and playing and just being local kids and having a good time. And man, what an experience, wow. The island is a neat lifestyle, guys. And if you've never got to experience that, I'm glad that I got to take my son there and let him live aloha too. He got to experience that at a young age too, which is really neat. So children are different there on the islands too. Generally, they're much more like I said, they'll come up and they call you uncle or auntie because they're a little bit more respect. So they're elders. They will call you uncle. So you can tell I live there. People are like, Dad, you must live there for a while. You talk just like a local. Well, somebody asked me earlier if I could assimilate. I learn the culture. So I don't go to a country and not learn their culture. If I want them to accept me, I need to learn their culture. Like Hispanic people are very accepting if you learn their language. They like that. Oh, dirty Mexican speaking Spanish. That is, shut up. Oh, he's talking crap about me. No, he's not. You don't even know what he's saying. He was talking about doing work, talking about something at, his wife and his kids. He wasn't talking about you idiot, So you got to learn how to blend in, be a chameleon. And so I don't care where I got put, brothers and sisters. At this point in my life, if I could, I go to any other place other than America. You know what I'm saying? Because anywhere I go, I love all people. There's good people and bad people everywhere in this rock. So it doesn't matter which island or which continent or which rock you go to. There's good and bad people everywhere. I grew up in the concrete jungle in Los Angeles, California. It was not an easy place to grow up. There were good areas and bad areas, and I lived in both. So we moved around a lot. So when I grew up, I moved around all the time. So we're always moving, but that's me. My soul likes to wander and move around, and I hope someday to go back to the islands. I'd like to visit every continent, all 180 of them, and go share the gospel with every nation. There isn't one nation that Father doesn't have his brides somewhere within that nation. It's not just over in the middle of the desert. So that's not Israel, brothers and sisters. Father's bride is all flesh from all 180, all 180 countries, all islands, everywhere. And I'm hoping that someday that Father will unchain me and allow me to move around the cabin one day again, because he's put the fasten seatbelt sign on me, so I can't even leave the state that I'm in. What do you want? You've already been outside. What time is it? We better get off here. All right, 12:20. Let's wrap it up there, guys. Love you, brothers, sisters in the narrow way. Thanks for your time tonight, guys. 43 likes. That's cool. We had a $2.09 to what? $2.09. What's that all about? I don't know what that's all about. Thank you for your tithe of time, brothers and sisters. Very important that time, you can't make more time or print it. So your time is more valuable than any tithe that could be left monetarily. Man, I appreciate a good conversation with some adults about something, like just things. Landon, I really think maybe you should discuss with your wife about maybe looking at some other, if you already do things like island, you could probably do very well in the Philippines. There's a lot of American people there that live over there, because obviously the military and stuff, man, there was a ton. Oh, okay, cool. Well, awesome. If you're single there, boy, you'd really have it made there if you could, yeah, I know it's so hard to get ahead over there. I lived there for a while, only because I'm just super resourceful that I'm able to. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I had everything taken from me, and here I am sitting with a $500,000 storm shelter, 3 or 4 cabins. Come over here. I'll hook you up. Landon. Do you want to work? There's work over here. I got cabins. If you like to work a little bit, I work 4 hours, 5 hours a day. Remember, I live in Aloha. I still live that same thing here on the mainland. I'm living in Aloha. So, nice. David, definitely get a hold of me, man. Outstanding. Let's meet up. Let's do something. I don't think we could get a cowboy dinner tree reservation. They do those big, huge monster steaks out there at the cowboy dinner tree. But so get a hold of me. Like I said, I got options out here, and I got other options. I love people who are motivated to try to keep, moving forward in their lives. Abundance is possible. If you don't sit there like a bump on a log, you'll be fine. You'll be fine, Lenny. You really will. Just keep, nice in Redmond. Cool. Man, I remember there was nothing in Redmond, Oregon. There was nothing out there. Remind me of Christmas Valley, out where I'm at. Just a farming town. Madras, nothing. Prineville, nothing. Look at these towns, guys. It's amazing. All these towns. Bend, Oregon. Holy smokes. The freaking Reed Market Road was way at the edge. That was the edge of town. That was way out of town. High Desert Museum was like you were in stinking Lapine. The only thing in Lapine was the Wickiup Junction in the general store over there. Man, I'm getting old. So, watch it all grow up around you, man. So, anyways, good to be in here with you guys with a good live this time. I do appreciate it. These last couple lives have been good. I do love talking preparedness, guys. I really do. Love talking with others who, are trying to, stay in motion. Don't sit there and let yourself grow roots. There's nothing wrong with, if you don't feel like you're in the right spot, listen to your gut. Everybody's got, 2 feet, not everybody, but I'm saying 10 toes. Go where it's over here. Go where you think your 10 toes need to be. Man, this is a time. They haven't put a ton of restrictions on people as of yet, and that could happen real quickly, guys. So if you do have a chance to make a move, this is a good time of year in the Northern Hemisphere. The weather's good. You might want to take a look at that move. I know I'm hoping to make a move south from here, and as soon as I can come up with another $15,000, now I just paid $43,000 on this one to pay this one off, so I've got to come up with some more money. But I have a chunk already because I've been trading and working my fingers to the bone out here, selling things, and I don't have calluses on my hands because I don't sit around and do nothing. But if I can come up with another 15,000, I'm going to make an offer on that property in Ecuador. And as soon as I can leave the country, I'm going to go down there and set up the ministry down there. I'm so excited about that. If Father will allow that. So thy kingdom come, thy will be done, but only if Father allows it. So if not, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to provide abundance. I've been talking again with Kevin, and we've made some switches around here to get this underground garden going completely geothermal, and I've been working on the well and whatnot daily, and so still working on the cabins. A lot of things are going on out here at High Desert Faith and Truth at Silver Rock Ranch. So get a hold of me if you want to come be a part of it. There's ways that we can probably fit you maybe in out here. I got options, so Tango, stop it. You're fine. I got to go let my dogs outside, guys. He needs to go outside. He's like every half an hour, he wants to go outside. So I love you, brothers, sisters, in the narrow way. Thank you for all 44 of those. That's a lot of thumbs up. Appreciate it for the hours we were in here. So if there are any of those that haven't hit that yet, that don't cost you anything to do that. If you could leave me a tithe by hitting that thumbs up before I go, that would be appreciated. There is a link in the bio if you want to leave a Cash App or a PayPal payment. Now, look, I have money, I have some precious metals, but I'm trying to purchase some more land for the ministry. So should have bought it when it was $18,000-$19,000, but they've added a pool, they've added a tilapia pond, they've added, there's just been a whole new driveway system into the house. They've put a lot of money into the system. So as soon as I'm able to secure the funding for this ministry, if somebody's looking to make a big tithe, I only wanted one large tithe last time, and I was able to do it myself. But there is a link. It's not required to be a part of the ministry, so don't worry about it. If you don't tithe a single thing, come back every single time and be a part of this ministry. Your tithe of time can't be, bought, paid, or purchased. I hope you can't print time, okay? And you can't make it. So your time is way more valuable, but I will make a mention before I go. I have a Cash App, and I thank everybody. We've probably $20, $30 that have come in over the last, I've been streaming nearly every day for 15, 16 hours sometimes a day here, but it'll help, guys. I'll put it towards this future ministry purchase, and I'd love to send you star fruit, guava, papaya, mango, mandarin, aguacate. I'd love to send you the fruit and stuff that's on this property straight to your door. We have a worldwide ministry. This is not any one single rock. It's north, east, west, south. Get with the news here. This is a worldwide ministry. And tithing is something that is part of scriptural or biblical, history. And I want to be able to tie it back to all the people for the years that have given to this ministry with their comments and time. I'd love to send you organic food that's grown by people within your own community members here at High Desert Faith and Truth send it back out to you in Mylar bags all across the world, because this ministry is a worldwide ministry. It's not just one place, not just the United States. It's, I mean, come on, it's the internet. So it's all over the place, all continents. And I'd love to send you guys some food in a climate that's super conducive. You know, we could probably even grow food down there, such as, you know, boar, goats, sheep, chickens, rabbits, and send out meat too. And we could really try to get to, like right now, Landon said he was broke, right? Cool. I'd love to send Landon some food, you know, send him some tithes. Said he's young, he's 22. He could probably use some good organic food. This is what I'm hoping for this ministry. So if you want to be a part of this, watch it grow. We're already out here. Like I said, this property's been paid off. And if you want us to help see the future purchase of this next ministry in Ecuador, I've been talking about it a little bit here on the ministry. Be a part of it. And if you want to even come down there, if you got a passport, you're more than welcome to come down there and be a part of that ministry as well. So I don't want to own the land. I'm buying the land for the ministry, donating it. I don't want to own anything. I'm all done owning things. I need my dogs. As long as they're happy and fed, I got a roof over my head for the night, a bag or something, I'm good. I don't want anything. I've already done everything that Father wants me to do at this point. He's going to lead me and guide me. As far as myself, I don't have a bucket list. I'm done. I had a good life. I didn't get cheated. If I died today, not rolling around in my sleep, not rolling around in the good, not going to do that. I'm blessed. Been a long, tough life, but it has been well worth the hard ride. So difficult is the path that leads to eternal life, brothers, sisters. Straight is the gate. Okay, so I'll see you. If something happens tonight, I'll see you on the other side of that gate. Okay, I love you, brothers, sisters, in the narrow way. Thank you for all your tithes of time. More valuable than any money. You can't buy time. You can't print it. Hey, these money printers got to print money. They can print it by the trillions of dollars, but nobody's printing money. Nobody's printing time that I know of. So I appreciate that so much. Again, and I'll see you guys on the next broadcast. Pastor Revelation, Pastor Apocalypse. Whoa.